actually scratching a ticket. Can I walk out back?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, that's just I communicate with that.
Not just ghosts. It's not just cryptozoology or aliens. It's all of it.
And what are we doing today, Matt?
Almost like Chewbacca. Like, you guys want to do a little beatbox live? Showtime! What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Banter with Richie B. I am on my own tonight. That's right. I did a really good opening, don't you think? I am in the woods right now, live in the woods. Okay, looking for Sasquatch. Whatever, you do your way, I do mine. Mind your business. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Guess what? This is episode 1 of season 2. I know, I'm supposed to have a new intro. We'll deal with that when she gets home. That probably leaves out on the West Coast, man. Anyways, I'm super stoked. Guess what? I have Denise and Ernie Pack, Packman Paranormal in the hizzy. So we're going to talk some paranormal, sure. But I'm a Bigfoot nut, all right? Sorry, I just love it. I've had some kick-ass experiences. Don't judge me, all right? And we're going to talk about some kick-ass evidence that the Packs brought. They came in swinging with their stuff. Trust me. I'm like, damn. See that? You like that? I was like, damn. You like that? Pretty good, right? So I just get so fired up for this stuff, especially when it's like kick-ass, irrefutable, in your face, tough shit if you don't like it, evidence. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, deal with it, you know? So, hey, I went out Bigfoot with a fan part 2 the other day. We went live on YouTube, right? Because this is what we do at my show. It's interactive. You guys participate on the side. You can click a link. You can come in and ask questions. I don't care. I'm good, right? We leave our ego at the door when we come to the Banter show. We all hang out and try to figure this out on our own, right? Together as a team. That's what we do. That's how I like to do it. So please don't be afraid to click a link and jump in and ask questions on the side. You know what I mean? Like be active, man. Don't just sit around. I know it's Tuesday and the weather stinks, and it always stinks lately. Tomorrow it's going to stink even more up here in the Northeast and the day after. But speaking of that, we say prayers not only for our guests, but I have friends in Ohio as well. There's a lot of storms going on right now. So let's just all say a little prayer, make sure everybody gets through, all right? So listen, we got a kick-ass show ahead of us. You guys got to keep tuning in because I'm going to be doing some more lives. I got Sasquatching with a Skeptic coming up. A local fella, somebody I know, he's going to be coming out into the woods, and I'm going to just point at things and whatever and let him find shit out on his own. That's what I did with J-Lo. That's what I did with Wojo. You know, these are things that you just kind of figure on yourself. You got to have common sense in a way where you're like, oh yeah, okay. I can see the magic whirlwind didn't do that. We all know about that magic whirlwind. Yep, I saw that, Jen. Thank you. Yep, absolutely. So we want to make sure all our people are safe first and foremost, right? And then I got some kick-ass shit coming up. So we got tonight we got the Packs Saturday at 6 p.m. on my paranormal show, the 6th. I got Michael John from the Paranormal Voice is going to be here and hanging out with us. And we got some kick-ass shows lined up. You know what I mean? Plus, we're waiting to get back out to the huts in Western Mass, but the weather's been so bad. It's mud season now, so it's hard to get out there. There's no promises you'll make it back. Which reminds me of a lot of times like the late 80s when I used to do a lot of partying. Anyways, different story. We won't talk about that. We probably will, but just not at the second. And then remember in June what I got the Charming's Fair Farm coming up in Candia, New Hampshire, June 22nd and 23rd. I will be broadcasting live with my podcast on the farm, and it's going to be kick-ass. So I'm a presenter, and then I asked them if I could do my podcast as well. They thought it was a great idea, And here we are. Now we got to hope technology plays along and does what it's supposed to, right? I mean, if it doesn't, I don't really care. So, but I'm out in the woods. You guys see that? I'm out in the woods. So look, that's literally my backyard, actually. See it? This weird stack of effed up trees. Yeah, it happens all the time. But that's the magic whirlwind, just so you know. So hey, listen, so we got a lot to get to tonight. I know you guys love hearing me talk. I know I love hearing me talk. So look at that. Brian Terrell's here. Why don't we bring in the packs while we say hello to the side? How about that? Because I like doing that now. You notice how I don't like saying hi to the side by myself? I used to do like a 15-minute like opening. Which I'm sure I will again at some point, but lately it's just been like, come on, bring my people in. You know what I mean? Like, we'll just say hi. You guys want to say hi to them anyways. You want to say hi to me. I mean, Brian said, what's up, right? Steve Parker's here telling me to shush. No, I'm talking soft. It's as soft as it gets. You weirdos. So anyways, listen, Packman Paranormal is in the house. Denise and Ernie are here, and I want you all to give them a nice big round of applause, okay? And there they are.
I'm listening.
Remember that?
You hear the applause?
Yeah, remember that? The round of applause.
Oh, yeah.
I never understood that shit. You
Great
know
to
what I
be
mean?
here finally.
Oh, yeah. Right? I'm glad you guys are here. I'm so stoked, man. I am so super stoked because I'm a Bigfoot freak, like I said, right? And we were talking a little bit backstage. You see, I got the goosebumps. Yeah, look at it, right? You guys are like, woohoo, like fired up like me with this stuff. I get so freaking fired up when it comes to Sasquatch. Just because of the experiences that I've had come at me like, whoa, you know what I mean? It's exhilarating. People don't understand how exhilarating it is, you know? I've been blessed. So we're going to say hi to the side, though, before we get going, because I have a feeling us three could wander off, if you know what I mean.
Really? I see everybody over there. Hi, everyone.
I'm in the woods.
Wojo's in the house. Richie B's in the woods. Russ is here. Adam,
all right, I got it. Okay. I got a button right here.
You might have met your match with this one, Richie. I'm just
I am fully aware. I've been doing my homework. I know exactly what's going to happen here tonight. Neither one of us are wearing pants, for starters.
Nope.
We did not call each other. It just happened like that.
No, it just, we didn't plan this. We just both came dressed the same from the waist down.
Listen, hey, listen, there's something to be said about podcasting with no pants on. I'm telling you, man. It's just something about it. You're just like, yep, go ahead.
It's such a sense of freedom, you know?
Look at Big Daddy Andy's in the hizzy. What's up? Hey, he always says, hey, Richie B and the Packman Paranormal. What's up, Andrew? Good to have you as usual. Huge supporter. Much love to you, brother. You're going to be traveling soon, aren't you, sir? I think you are. Safe trip. And Jen's here. She says hello or hey. All right. I should quote. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't misquote Jen.
Yeah, and misquoting people. What kind of an asshole is this guy? Well, didn't see Sasquatch at the field tonight. I'll try again soon. What field are you talking about? Was I supposed to be somewhere? When was this? I don't know. My son signed up for baseball. I don't know when I'm supposed to be anywhere. I have no idea. I got cats and dogs living together. It's crazy. I really don't. Yes, Jen, that is correct. Yep. We've tornadoes.
Got the weather right here in front of us, watching it while we're on here so we don't blow away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anything happens, God forbid, if hopefully it does not, but if they go abruptly, then we'll keep you updated. But let's all just
suddenly go blowing that way.
Right.
You guys will know.
Yeah.
Wicked Witch of West Point, right?
Oh, here we go.
What is
She can
that?
hear your thoughts. She can hear your thoughts, people. I just found this out.
Is there something on the ground in Elizabethtown?
There's a severe thunderstorm right now down there.
No, as long as we got the radar, and if we see a hook, then we have to do whatever.
Yeah, we're looking at the town right over from us right now.
Right down the highway.
That's looking pretty shady.
It's all good. We're ready to do this. Let's do this.
Okay, guys, it's going to be a real fast version of this, okay? Let's get the evidence right now. We're going to do some talking with the facts.
Hey, we've seen Bigfoot. All right, bye.
Okay, see ya. Good night, folks. Wow. It's going to be an awesome show tonight. Well, thank you, Jen. I thought so. Russ Stive is here, a.k.a. Stiv Dog.
Stiv Dog in the hizzy.
Yeah, that's right. Stiv Dog. And then Brian Terrell is the gentleman that I was just talking to you about backstage, strangely enough, because I don't see him in my show enough. from Red Dirt Cryptid out of Oklahoma, who found the matching hut, I'll call it, right?
Cool.
And this is a picture of his feet.
He's got purple feet. That's cool. I like
Don't judge Ernie.
it.
Wojo says hello. Leanne Eskew. I've heard that name. Is she with
She's
you?
our sister.
We know her.
We know her a time or two.
We've met her a time or two. We might have been in the woods with her a few times.
All right, you guys need a minute? Go ahead, finish up. Jesus Christ. It's probably gonna be like this all night because I seen your shows and I'm just like, who's that? What's that? What? Where'd they go? Huh? I'm like,
we're all over the place, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is lately I've been having co-hosts, like just coming in and hanging out, doing a co-host thing, right? Because it's kind of fun mixing it up, have different variety of people, right? And then someone said something about Tuesday. I go, oh no. There's no, no, you're not doing that to me. I'm not doing it. I am not adding anybody to this shit, okay?
He's watching us a time or two.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not going to work. You know what I mean? Hey, Adam, what's happening? Let's see. I'm back and forth sharing on. Yeah, I know, Jen. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Absolutely. You. Brian Terrell again. Oh, wow. This went zooming. Oh, there we go. We got Kaylee in the house. What's up, Kaylee? How you doing? Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. We appreciate it. We all oh, and look at this. Was she did you catch any of my podcast the other night?
Pair of perps.
This girl.
Might be a perv.
Oh, hi, paraperps. Wait, what? I think you.
About to put a pair of perv on there.
Yeah, I think she. No, I don't. You know what's funny? I was gonna say I think she means peeps, but then it's us three, and she's definitely means perps.
She might be on to something.
Definitely meant. She definitely meant perk. Wow. She was a rock star the other night on that podcast. She was nervous.
She was.
She told me.
Yeah.
She always nails it. I mean, she's nervous. She doesn't want to be on podcasting when she's on. She
does really good.
She kills it.
We were proud of her. Courtney. We were in and out. We didn't get to watch the whole thing because we didn't
she had her paper and pen, and she's like, yeah. And then
Courtney's always good at what she does.
And I'm like, damn, girl, you bringing it.
Out of Long Island gets some of the best evidence.
And we love everybody on that team. We've met everybody on that team.
Except for Courtney.
Except for Courtney. Yeah, in person. We've talked to Courtney plenty.
Well, I think the story that they're doing about that little girl is quite phenomenal. You must be aware of that situation.
Yes.
I think that if you guys have not heard it, check out the Trinity Paranormal of Long Island.
Long Island.
Check it. Long Island. Go over there and like and subscribe, and they have some cool shit, cool, like really cool stuff they're doing. It's not just, picking up an EVP, they're actually following the breadcrumbs to a story. And that's all I'm gonna say. You guys need to go over and check it out. And I know Rich Valdez is it Valdez or Valdez? I said it right.
Valdez.
Yeah, I said it right. Yeah. There's some people Valdez. I'm trying. My last name is Brault. Reault. It's like, how many friggin' vowels can you squeeze in? Yeah. It's so stupid. Yeah. Just Brolt. Everybody will go, oh, what's up, Brault? You know what I
mean? Yeah.
Oh, I feel better though. My medicine's kicking in.
Well, ours is Pack, so it's pretty easy.
It's pretty simple.
You guys, that's freaking cheating, dude. That's what that is. Everybody's saying here we go. All right, so this gentleman Claude here is going to give everybody a run for their money. Claude's like one of my a star guests that I have. No offense to anybody else, but you got to admit Claude brings it. He comes into the shows, man. He'll ask some thinkers, man. He's frozen my room a few times where everybody's like, I'm not kidding you. Oh yeah, I had a live while ago. It was some what did you say? Some Christopher Columbus shit and giants. I don't know.
Jen says Rich is sitting right by her, so don't talk bad about Rich.
Yeah, we have to change the subject because he'll get mad.
Somebody here?
Valdez.
Oh, I thought it was
he'll get mad.
Christopher Columbus. Why did he get mad for? Australia's Capture Paranormal. What's up from Sydney, Australia? Welcome.
150 degrees in here.
Is it?
I'm burning up.
Why don't you?
Probably because that hot fella next to you.
It's a hot flash. It ain't because of that.
Open the window.
Yeah, don't you, Ernie, don't you get up. Whatever you do, don't get up, Ernie.
I won't.
Okay, good. No, not you. I was at the Legion. Big Kid had a game. I expect to find Squatch out by backfield. All right, he's not out there, bro. I thought he was calling me something. All right, here we go. Let's get the show rolling here. We got Joanne here saying hello. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Look at all the happiness and love in here. This is what I like. Oh, Purple Blur is here. What's up, Purple Blur? Another great back and forth guest I have. Unbelievable. I'm grabbing moonshine for this show. Whoa, Joe.
You might need it.
Well, Claude has great questions, so strap in.
Not strap on, strap in.
Whoa, Denise comes out swanging.
It takes her no time to go straight to the gutter. No time.
Swanging. That's what you boys are doing with them pantless podcasts, right?
Listen, it's like you did homework on my show. It's like the fucking show. It don't matter. You know what I mean? We're gonna bring up all kinds of subjects here. This is great. Here we go. What's this? Oh, hello. Well, I hit the button. Well, hello. Is it Elisa or Alyssa? I'm gonna go with Alyssa.
I say Alyssa.
I go with Alyssa, by the way it's spelled. Right. Well, either way, a cool spelling. Thank you, and happy Tuesday to you too.
Moonshine, pair of pervs, and strap-ons. Wait, what?
What show did you tune into, Jen?
They know what show they tuned into. Don't worry, bro. The second way. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's the second way. Which way was the second? I forget. The elite.
He said it both ways, and he talks so fast, I lost track.
Yeah, well, I mess you up because I don't use any R's. I park my car in the Harvard yard and messes you right up every time.
Yeah. Hey, I'm from Kentucky, trying to figure dude. Come on.
You say strap down? Jesus. The blue line is here. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And Elisa or Alyssa is like totally confused already. That's all right. Sorry. Thank you. You're in the right place. That's all that matters, right? We'll call her Elisa or Alyssa. How's that?
There you go. There you go.
All right. Welcome to the show, Elisa or Alyssa. All right, got my water ready. All right, so listen, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you.
Okay.
Because this is what happens on show day in my brain. Okay.
We're ready for you.
All right, I'm going to split you right in half. All right, Denise. All right, don't kids. Do we take our Ritalin?
Don't make him pull this car over. Stop it!
Don't you make me pull this car over, Denise. How did you get into the paranormal world?
My parents urban ghost hunt. They were urban legend chasers, ghost hunters. I grew up in rural West Virginia. I grew up in Mothman country, the hollers of West Virginia, Appalachian witches. I was born and raised, so I've never known anything different.
Really? See, now I always did you have any experiences at a young age?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like
grew up in a haunted house.
I grew up in a haunted house. I didn't realize it wasn't until I went to kindergarten, because I was one of those kids that was kind of weird. My grandmother pretty much raised me, and I was surrounded by adults, so I had an adult mentality. I wasn't really surrounded by other children. All of my friends and everything I hung out with was like my grandmother, my mom, my dad, my aunts, my uncles. So when I went to kindergarten and started talking about some of the things that I had experienced, to me, they were normal. Right. And everybody started making fun, saying there's no such thing as ghosts. And that was when I got confused, because I never knew there was not supposed to be such a thing as ghosts. Because, it wasn't ghost, it was cryptids and everything. Like, that was just a normal part of our daily conversation, because and I came from a very religious family. My grandmother and great aunt wore dresses, didn't cut their hair. There was like the Jesus shrine, for lack of a better word for it, in the hallway. Very, very religious. Church every Sunday, morning, evening. But
they were witches.
They wouldn't use the word witch, but just some of the things that they did and the things we talked about, they were. It just was not the word that you would use at that time, because it was a taboo word, But that was my whole existence. So I never knew anything different.
Did you see any cryptids at a young age, or just paranormal ghosts?
I had some. I can't really say that I saw anything. It was more or less hearing things like in the woods and stuff that I knew there were no animals making those noises. finding odd things, tree structures and such. But I didn't actually visualize anything cryptid or well, we had UFO experiences even. I remember my mother coming home one night. My dad always claimed he didn't believe in it. And I think it was because he was trying to make me not be scared. Because, and now that I'm older and we talk about it, my dad goes back and agrees with everything that ever happened. But at the time, I felt like he just didn't believe me, but I think he did. He just didn't want to enhance it. But I remember my dad had me one night, was keeping me. My mom was working late. It's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. My mother worked about 45 minutes away and she rode with a friend. They carpooled. My mom came running into the house and we lived in a house that was built in like 1890 at the time. It was very old. And she come running in the front door screaming at my dad, "You've got to come out here and see this. You've got to come out here and see this." And I never saw what it was. My dad jumped up barefoot. I remember this because he bloodied his toe up, thought he broke his foot, running out the door barefoot. And from what they described, a UFO had followed, when they got on country roads, because we were in Buffalo, West Virginia, got on the country roads, this thing stood or got right above their car and followed them all the way. And when she stopped to let my mother out, it kind of hovered and then darted off. Well, my dad ran out there, never saw anything, but I'm listening. They put me to bed. I'm listening to the story. And then the next day I'm out in the front yard playing, and right across the street was a church and then a park. I'm out in the yard playing and I hear all this commotion and I look up and there's 3 Army helicopters that kind of come down and they hover right over where Mom said she saw this thing shoot off. My parents both come out of the house and are over there looking, and then they just hover, never land, and then they kind of fly off. So that kind of sealed to me that I was young. I was probably 3 or 4 years old, but it was enough for me to know that something was not right.
Something big happened.
A multitude of experiences like that. I mean, I could write a book on just the things. My mother says that my first full-bodied apparition that I saw, I was probably 3. I don't even remember that. But my mother said that I was having a tea party with a man in the closet. She couldn't see the man, but I was sitting in the closet with my little table, my teapots, and she asked me who I was playing, because I was having a full conversation. She asked me who I was talking to. I described this man. Well, she knew the man. Well, she didn't know him personally, but she knew who had died in our house and who haunted our house. I didn't. She pulls out an annual of the city and, old black and white photos and says, "Does he look like any of these?" And I pointed to the man that used to live in our house. So she knew then that I had gifts and that I had seen the man. And then I started telling them things before they happened, and predictions more or less, to where they started figuring out that I was gifted. So, and I was never told there's no such thing or you didn't see that. Like if I told my grandmother or my mom that I saw something, they took it seriously and said, "Well, what did you see? Did he have anything to say?" So it was nurtured. So I was never convinced that I wasn't conditioned, conditioned to think that it wasn't there. So I'd always stay open to it. And then when I started having my children were never told there was no such thing. And my children to this day, I mean, of course things startle us and, we get a little scared sometimes, but for the most part, my kids will run blindly into this stuff too and hunt and do whatever. They'll go out with me because they don't know to be afraid of it. They've never been taught to be afraid of it.
Yep. And it's funny because I'm the same exact way. And I was drawn to you in a sense when I asked you this question, because my first experience, I was 7 or 8 years old, and there was a woman standing in my room. Everybody's heard the story. Long story short, I described it to a T to my mom, and my mom freaked out, called my dad. They were divorced, blah, blah, blah. Richie just described your mother to a T, right down to her limp and what she was buried in and what she was wearing when she was buried. And I was 7 or 8, and he was an atheist, didn't believe in anything. And the funny thing is now, Denise, he's because he ended up moving to a house in Maine that was haunted, and some dude walked up to him in his house, and he was like freaked out ever since. He's buying equipment. He's got all that. He's like, "Hey, what do I need for this? Hey, what do I need for?" And I go, "What do you mean, for the shit that don't exist? What are you talking about?" You know what I mean?
What's super funny about my dad is, like I said, all through my childhood, he pretended like he didn't believe it. But then every once in a while, you'd catch him telling a story And then it was like, but I don't know what really happened, you know? So it was like he was wanting to tell the story, but he didn't want to act like he believed it. And then when I got a little older, he was more open to talk about it. And then here recently, he came to visit us here to help us do some minor repairs in the house. For anybody that doesn't know, we live in what Google calls the most haunted house in Kentucky, the Ditto House Inn, 1841.
Oh.
And my father stayed all the way up till the sun went down and then went to a hotel. He refused to sleep here.
He was good. Yeah, he was good. Yeah. See how that funny how that works, you know, and the most I can get out of him anyways is validation. That, hey, do you remember when mom called you that time? And it's like, yep, it's just a family story. And I've always been connected, and all my kids have been taught to be open. My 13-year-old went out Sasquatch with me like a month ago, and he working the parabolic microphone. You know what I mean? So it's just something that we do that's part of us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What's this? And then
you formed a band called Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. Yeah. Leanne, Stevie Nicks.
Claude asked, he didn't know who we were. Packman Paranormal, Denise, Ernie, Pack, P-A-C-K.
Yep. And all the good people on the side filled them in real quick. So I got a good crew that shows up.
I didn't want to act like we were ignoring it. So.
No, that's all right. No, we're there. I'll click the button. Okay, Denise? I will click the damn button.
I'm used to being in control, Richie. I have a problem not being in control. Ask him.
No, I've already seen it. I don't have to ask him. It starts with this. Ernie, same question. Well, how did it happen for you? Paranormally, cryptid wise? Like, were you young? Did you have an experience? Did you have family like her? Like, how does this happen?
Very similar, actually. I had a lot of Native American heritage on my father's side of the family.
He is if you want to break it down, he is a 6th generation medicine man.
Oh.
Yeah, Cherokee medicine man was my great grandfather. I guess that's how you'd say it.
6.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
You had it on both sides, didn't you, recently?
Yeah. There's a Indian chief named Red Bird who was in like the eastern Kentucky and West Virginia regions where he was a chief. And he is also like my 6th great grandfather on that side.
So both sides of the family.
And Native Americans are very spiritual people. They believe very much in the spiritual world, the afterlife, and all of those things. And so I had a lot of believers around me as I was growing up. When I was a kid in elementary school, a lot of the kids that I went to school with, when we'd go to the library and we could check out books, or when they had, remember the highlights for children where you could order the books and stuff out of them and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was ordering books on the Loch Ness Monster, on Bigfoot, on UFOs, on ghosts. Everybody else is ordering them on BMX or, evil. And no, I was always interested in those things. And then I grew up in the shadows, basically, of Waverly Hills, which is what a lot of people consider the most haunted place in the world. And so, as a teenager, it became kind of a rite of passage to sneak in there. And we did that on several occasions, and we had some paranormal experiences there. This is back before it was known as a paranormal location. Well, it was just an abandoned building.
I've got to interrupt him. You had that experience as a child with your grandmother.
Yeah, I had stayed with my grandmother, and this had happened to my brother also. A very similar incident happened to my brother a couple years prior. But I was staying with my grandmother, and my grandfather used to keep a screwdriver wedged in the door of the house where they used to live, because they didn't have a good lock on the door. It was an old house. And so he would wedge a screwdriver in there kind of as a lock. But if you shook that door enough, that screwdriver would fall anyway. But it would make enough noise that it would alert him. He could grab his gun and shoot whoever came in the door. Well,
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
One night I was very young. I was in bed with my grandmother, and I heard that screwdriver hit the floor. And, it woke me up, and I looked over. My grandmother was awake. She was kind of sitting up in bed, and she just looked over and she patted me on the leg. I hear footsteps come in, and a man stops in the doorway, in the hallway outside the bedroom door, and just kind of looks in and smiles, and he's got a gold tooth. and he walks on into the kitchen. They had a light that hung from a chain that, you pulled the light to turn it on and it would swing. Well, that light comes on and you see the shadows kind of going back and forth like this. And I mean, just plain as day, someone was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so then he turns around, he comes back, kind of nods his head by the bedroom door, walks back and goes out the door. My grandma gets up, goes, puts the screwdriver back in the door, and she comes back in there. And I'm like, wasn't that great grandpa Pack? She said, yeah. I said, but he's dead. She said, he comes to visit us all the time. Don't worry about it. And so, I mean, that was a pretty convincing moment for me. But I've just always been interested from that point on.
And how old were you then? How old were you at that?
Probably
Experience?
5 or 6.
Yeah.
I was real young. Like I said, I was sleeping in the bed with my grandmother.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to imagine you as a child being frozen, kind of like what?
Yeah, I was scared to death. My grandma, like I say, she just patted me on the leg. And my grandma's mother was the daughter of a Cherokee medicine man. So, she was, very. She used to tell Dad all the time, things like, well, your Uncle Zach was here yesterday when we got done with dinner. I come out and Uncle Zach was in here. And Dad'd be like, Mom, Zach's been dead for 13 years. And she's like, yeah, well, he was here yesterday. And, so, I mean, it was just always, it was never anything like Denise said. It was never anything that I didn't believe in. And so, as I got a little older, I started getting interested in other things that weren't supposed to exist according to everybody else. And you could hear him rummage around in the kitchen. Purple Blur is asking a question over there.
Yep, I got it.
You could hear him rummaging around in the kitchen, like open cabinets, and I guess he was like just checking to make sure we had food. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
was it a residual? I mean, he came frequently.
I mean, it was intelligent because he looked in and nodded at us.
Right. But does he do the same motion?
It was something that happened frequently, according to
residual. Yeah, it could have been residual.
And like I say, my brother had almost an identical experience, maybe 10 years prior to that.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I mean, it was not anything that was unheard of in our family.
Yeah. And then, of course, Waverly Hills. He started talking about Waverly Hills. This is not the area. It is the area code, but that's not what that tattoo's for. That's for room 502 at Waverly Hills, because that's how we ended up meeting each other.
We're going to get there, Denise. You just hang on. This is my show, Denise. My show. Ernie, give her the bird.
Where the sun don't shine.
I'm trying to get that man killed.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it.
I thought I was going to like this guy. I thought.
You're wrong again. Oh, well. So you grew up near Waverly, right? Now, like literally, like how far are you like you're going in there as a kid?
Yeah, I could ride my bike there. I mean, it was maybe 3 miles
crazy.
from the house.
Oh my
it
God.
wasn't far at all. And like I say, we snuck in there as teenagers, and
holy shit.
That was when it was just an abandoned building.
Did you have any idea of what it was, and did it have a lure that did it have a name?
My great grandfather actually had cataract surgery there when it was
Woodhaven.
They had a geriatric center in there, and they had a small surgical suite where they did like outpatient surgery and stuff. And my grandfather had outpatient surgery there at one point. And I knew that it had been a nursing home. But I didn't know everything about the tuberculosis and all of the, I didn't know the entire history of the place. To me, it was just a cool looking old building.
Yeah.
And we called it the Castle on the Hill because, when in the fall, when the leaves were gone, back then the trees were a lot shorter.
Right.
You see the place from the highway, and, it looked like a big castle up there on the hill. And, so, when Tina and Charlie bought the building in 2000 and got it cleaned up and started doing paranormal tours out of it, I started going and taking the tours and doing some of the investigations. And every time I'd go, I'd ask them if they needed any help. They never did. Finally, one day, Tina said, well, we could use some help with the haunted house this year if you'd like to do that.
Ooh.
And so I was like, sure. So that was how I got my foot in the door. Started out as a haunted house actor. And I worked one season as a haunted house actor. And at the end of that season, they asked if I wanted to stay on and help them. They were going to do some more private overnights throughout the rest of the year that year. It was one of the rare times where they did them after the haunted house. Usually they shut down after the haunted house.
Right.
And so I got my foot in the door, started hosting the private overnights, and then kind of never went away. Well, I went away a few times and came back a few times.
Yeah.
And
yes, Lisa, it is.
We're on to our own mission with Fort Duffield. We got another location that we're doing. But
well, that's something that you're more involved with now as a team too. Did you both go into that together, or did one start it and the other one come in?
we did not meet until June the 20th of 2019.
Okay.
He was my overnight guide when I.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Yes, this is the next subject.
Yeah.
So, how do those two stories collide?
Well, I had been going up there as a paranormal investigator I started in 2009 and I met him in 2019. So for 10 years, I had been going up there as a guest and he had been working there for 10 years and we didn't cross paths till that night when he was my guide. His Todd called me Pops.
Yeah, block him. He is bad news. Get him out. We'll get to that, Rich.
Yep, Rich.
Yeah, we will get to that. Yes, we will. Yep. I just wanted to acknowledge.
But he was my guide that night. And there is a story about the nurse associated with room 502 that never made sense to him or to me. And individually over the years, we'd been kind of researching it the best we can.
Without knowing one another or the results of one another's research.
Individually, and there's not any records because of like 2 or 3 floods that had come through and destroyed records. So we were basing this all on paranormal research of what communication we were getting from her. And the night that I went up there, he was my guide. He had told the story that the tour guides had the scripted, version to tell. And that was the version I was always used to hearing. And I just, whatever, because I didn't believe it, but I knew that's what they always told. Well, when he got done telling that, he said, but I don't think that's what happened. Would you like to know what I think happened? And I stopped and I was like, yeah, what do you think happened? And he starts telling his version of what Sarah is the name we both got, told him. And then
as I'm telling this story, I'm noticing that this lady's over there nodding and grinning like she knows what I'm going to say before I said it. So when I got done, I pulled her aside and I asked her about it. And she told me, that she'd been investigating since 2009 and she'd gotten all the same answers I had got. And so we started talking a lot from that point on, trying to piece together more of Sarah's story. And
I was living 2 hours away, 2.5 hours. So I was in a different time zone even.
Yeah, she was in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and I was here in Louisville, Kentucky.
So
there in Louisville, Kentucky.
We got to the point that I was driving up on the weekends and stuff, and we were hanging out and trying to go to the Filson Club, which is the historical society downtown Louisville, and trying to anything we could, cemeteries to look for her, which is where we had
which is how Packman Paranormal came to be.
Because we had our first Bigfoot experience when we were at the cemetery looking.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Time out. Christ. What kind of segue is that? Don't you guys ever do podcasts? You got to segue. I mean, this is real life?
This is real life.
So you go to the cemetery, you're looking for the same story that you both.
We're still not a couple. We're just friends. And we're looking for Sarah's grave where she told us to go look. And we have tree knocks. And I have the recorder running and you can still hear me on it say, because we did not believe in
If you listen to it with earphones, you can hear the tree knocks.
We don't, at that time we weren't Sasquatch people. I mean, we believed in it. But it wasn't anything we'd ever gave much thought to.
You're down in the woods looking for Bigfoot. We'd never been squatching.
And you can actually hear me after the knocks. You hear me say, I'm not about dealing with no squatch tonight. And we both laugh. Well,
That's crazy.
there's a whole story that goes with that, but to make a long story short, just for this moment, we ended up having experiences that night that we ended up in contact with another radio host that shall remain nameless because we did not have a good experience. And she wanted to do Ghost Hunters Meet Bigfoot. And we had to do a 11-hour live podcast, and we needed to come up with a name. So that's how we formed the name Packman Paranormal. And we were still friends. We were not.
We didn't have a paranormal team, but we had to have a paranormal team name for her to advertise the radio show. So we said, okay, we're Packman Paranormal.
Okay.
And that's how it came to be.
And we're out in the cemetery trying to piece together a story about a dead girl named Sarah, and Sasquatch shows up.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much
that is like pitching a show. Yes, that is exactly what that is. Holy shit, guys. That must be freaking nuts. So all right. So let's get past the Sasquatch, because we're gonna get into Sasquatch, because if everybody knows, I'm a Bigfoot guy.
How long you got, Richie? Like, I mean, we can talk for hours.
I gotta be at work at noon tomorrow. So
I don't listen. I can hang out with you guys forever. Whatever forever is, I'm in. Trust me. Me, you guys.
We're down.
All your people, all your Sasquatches, all your Sarahs, we can all hang out. Alyssa, Elisa, whoever the hell wants to come. Todd, Dan, everybody, Purple Blur.
Johnny from San Antonio. Whoever.
Yeah. What's that? Johnny, what's up, Johnny? How you doing, bro? Thanks for stopping by. I hope the weather's good in San Antonio. So when you all right, so this moment happens. What makes you think though that's a Sasquatch?
Well, we still weren't, like, it was just a joke at first, but
Right.
I had, because we've already established I have gifts. I don't come online and tell everybody I'm a psychic medium and all that.
Right,
I don't have enough confidence in my abilities to
just turn it on. Or
the Todd.
The Todd's here. Welcome to Todd, everybody. We're going to get data crazy with Todd. The Todd. We'll do radio voice every time we talk about Todd. What do you think?
The Todd.
That's right. Well, that's right, Ernie and Denise. We got Todd Eskew here.
Grab the mic
Todd.
like Sarah. The Todd.
Back to you, Robert. Sorry. Oh yeah, you got. Oh wait, there's people still here. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
But it was like I don't know how.
Well, we went from that location. We went down the hill.
Well, I kept seeing something in the tree line.
Oh, okay.
I kept seeing something in the tree line, but I couldn't see it. But I just, in my mind's eye, there was something in that tree line. And
you knew there was something.
We had enough experiences together and things that I had told him, prediction type stuff, that he was convinced in my abilities enough to take me seriously. Because I don't have a lot of confidence in my abilities. They kind of do what they want to do when they want to do them. And I'm fine with that. I'm not trying to do readings or anything. I'll take what I can get.
We're in West Point, Kentucky, Johnny.
So,
so
I'm telling him there's something over there. He's going over and looking. We hear like something bipedal, but we're still at this point not thinking Sasquatch. We're thinking there's somebody in the woods. We need to be careful. It might be time to kind of go down the hill and not have any confrontations, because we're in a cemetery on the top of a hill in the middle of the night.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
so we start back down the hill, and there's like this really sharp curve they call it Crybaby Holler, because there's an urban legend that goes with that. That at night
that sounds like some of my second wife lives.
Well, there's an urban legend that back in the day a car came off that hill too fast and the car flipped, and there was a newborn, and they found like
and
they never found the newborn. So at night you can hear the baby cry. So he said,
what a horrible story.
Yeah.
And we don't know that actually happened, because if you look up Crybaby Holler, there's stories all over the country with Crybaby Holler.
Yeah, and they're almost identical.
So we can pack some stories in. Trust me.
We got a lot.
So he pulls over to the side and he's like, let's get out and see if we hear anything, because we're up there. Why not? We're ghost hunters. And because of that legend and the fact that it is a dangerous curve on the side of the hill, there's this huge, tall concrete wall. Like I could see, because there's a hill on the other side.
It's about 5 foot tall.
I could see over it to see the other side, but I couldn't see down.
Right.
So we're sitting there looking and we're listening and we're hearing something like crunch. And
Bipedal.
there's enough moonlight that we can see over on the other hill something walking upright.
Shit.
And we're still at this point, we're like, what is that? We're not thinking, because we're not Bigfooters.
Right.
We're not thinking of it. Well, then it comes kind of down and around underneath where we can't see it, because even with him tiptoeing and, looking over, he can't see down. And we're like, where is it? And then we hear right underneath us this big, long, guttural growl. And it was like 30 seconds long. Like there's nothing with that size of lungs that we can think of, because it was one long growl. And after that, I looked at him and he looked at me and he said, do you think we should go now? I was like, yeah, maybe we should go now. So we get back in the car and we're driving down, and then we both look at each other and said, was that a Bigfoot? And I said, I'm going to research Jefferson Memorial Forest, because that's where we were.
Yeah.
See what comes up. Bigfoot expedition that weekend, because of all of the recent sightings in the area.
Wow.
We had no idea.
That's crazy.
So then we ended up in contact with this other person that wanted to do a Bigfoot meets Sasquatch, or
Ghost Hunters Meet
Ghost Hunters Meet Bigfoot episode. So she sent Bigfooters out, because we were the ghost people. Right. And that started an 11-hour live stream that ended up with us having one walk out on the path in front of us.
We had about a 3-minute standoff with it.
And we were hooked. Like it just happened all the time from there.
Now I got ex-wife jokes going. Johnny, we don't know if that was good or bad, actually.
She got some big lungs. That's all I can say.
Good job, Johnny. I don't know what to say. Like, what do you say? I don't even know what to say. Welcome to Banter with Richie B. This is how it goes. So, all right. So I want to get to Sasquatch, because I do, right? But I have to know, what is the final verdict on the Sarah story? Do you have one?
Do you want to hear Sarah's story?
I do, yeah.
And I think
it's important.
This is like 12 years of paranormal research, not just mine, his, but when we got together and actually formed Packman Paranormal, started doing a podcast, we lost count at 32 different teams. Actually, some of our evidence is from Trinity Paranormal, Courtney's team.
Yeah.
We've had guests, because we started running, at one point we were running tours together at Waverly Hills. We had guests come forward. So this is all these pieces of evidence put together for one big story that we
When we started doing a podcast, of course, we told Sarah's story as we had it at that point, and more pieces started coming in from the people that would view the podcast that had been to Waverly. But anyway, the story that has been told about the nurse of room 502 is that she had been having an affair with a married doctor. She had gotten pregnant, might have contracted TB even. The doctor broke things off with her. She got depressed and hung herself.
And gave
outside. Yeah, gave herself an abortion
and hung herself.
Or had an abortion, whether she gave it to herself or had someone else do it, whatever. She had an abortion and hung herself outside of room 502. And that's the story that guides tell up there, probably still today. I don't know.
It's been on TV as well.
Story. Yeah, that's if you research Waverly Hills, that's the story you'll get of room 502.
They've even got a name for her that is a name that is not hers. If you research the names they're given, those were nurses that died there in different ways. None of them were confirmed suicides upstairs.
Right. So anyway, her story is this. She was the youngest kid in her family. She was the runt of the family. She had an older sister by the name, I can't remember her older sister's name.
She was
honestly.
15. She was 15 years old when she died.
She contracted tuberculosis and died at the age of 15. Sarah watched that happen. She decided she wanted to be a nurse. She wanted to work with children with tuberculosis. So when she got the chance, she went to school. She applied. She got hired at Waverly Hills. She was a new hire, 22 years old. She was very small, so she got stuck on the night shift. And because she was very small and very soft-spoken, they put her up on the 5th floor working with the sickest kids in the building. The terminal children were kept on the 5th floor up there. And she loved it. I mean, that was a dream come true for her. She loved what she did. And one night, after she'd been there for about 3 years, she was 25 years old. She's working alone. She's in room 504 when another staff member came in. He didn't use the elevator because she never heard a bell. I kept getting an EVP or response on an Ovilus, something that would say no bell, no bell, no bell. I went down this rabbit hole of looking for a Nobel Prize winner that had worked at Waverly or
I
something.
just sent you a photo, by the way.
Yeah.
If you see it. Yeah.
And so anyway, one night I'm sitting there outside of room 504 and I'm looking across at the elevator over there and there's a bell next to it, you know. And I said, do you mean you didn't hear the bell of the elevator?
Oh, shit.
And I got a response. It was funny. I mean, it was like exasperated. She's like, yes. You know, like I've been trying to tell you this for years. And so finally I put that together. Okay, he came up the steps. She never heard the bell. He came in the room behind her. He attacked her. She tried to fight back. She's too little. He's too strong. He got what he wanted.
Hurt my neck.
He hurt my neck.
Oh, no.
She was a virgin until that night.
Oh.
And
they lied.
They lied. They covered it up. Help me. Help me. Help me.
And what better way to hide, you know, what they did by hanging her to cover up the broken neck, making up the story of an abortion to cover up the rape. And, you know, this happened this was a self-contained community. Sexual predators have been around since the beginning of time. You know, who's the best victim? The tiny little nurse.
Alone
on the
night shift with the only witnesses around being these really sick kids or people over in the other wing who had electroshock therapy because they had tubercular meningitis. They had TB of the brain and they were considered crazy.
Now, we cannot confirm this story any more than they can confirm the one that they tell. But this is the story she has told us, along with well over 30 other teams that we have pieced together over the years.
And the picture that you sent me, you believe is her?
Yes.
Yep.
Do we have that? We don't have that in evidence today, though, do we?
No.
No, you can slide it in there if you want to, if you can figure out a way. There she is.
Yep, there she is.
Everybody see that? God bless you, little girl. That's horrible.
She was 25 years old and a sweet, sweet lady.
And she's actually saved our lives because
there's a whole lot to that story.
Whole other lot. We'll just condense it as much as we can for the sake of just getting it told. Ernie went through a lot of issues over those few months that we had met and were researching before we actually became a couple. Had lost a job, ended up evicted, was sleeping in his car. I was a single mom, 2.5 hours away, working overtime to try to help him as a friend because we were just friends, trying to keep his car paid so he at least had something to sleep in. And he got tired and
was ready to give up, was ready to take a dive off the roof of Waverly Hills.
Yep. So what happened?
Well, I was standing there. It was a little after 4 a.m.
And for me, it would have been a little after 3 a.m. I always slept with my phone on silent, and I was jolted awake with that little voice saying, "You need to wake up because you're going to have a phone call here in a minute. You need to handle it."
Jesus!
So I was laying there awake with my phone in my hand,
and I had just gotten the group out to their cars, and they were headed down the hill. I had to go back through and lock the building up, and I started at the top floor and worked my way down. That's how I did it. So I was a smoker at the time, and I got up there to the top floor, and I walked out on the roof. Beautiful view from up there. Lit a cigarette, standing there smoking a cigarette, watching the taillights disappear down the hill from the group that had just left. And I made the decision at that point, when I finish this cigarette, I'm going to flick it, and I'm following it down. I was going to do it. And then I heard that little voice, Sarah's voice, the one that I'd heard many times, say, "Call Denise." And I called Denise. I didn't tell her I was standing on the ledge of Waverly Hills ready to jump. I just said, "What are you doing?" Because she answered on the first ring. And we just talked for about
And I knew
half hour or so.
I didn't know exactly what was going on, but the fact that I had been jolted awake and told you're going to have a phone call you've got to take, I knew something was happening, and I kind of was trying to figure it out. I kind of thought that's where it was at.
And so anyway, I mean, I
saved your life.
Her, I felt a lot better. She had been in a really dark place herself. Hello, Jenny. And Sarah kind of saved both of us and brought us together.
Pushing us together. We kept trying to pull it apart from each other. We kept trying to say, oh, we're just friends. We're just friends. Wanted to go down that road.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of divine intervention here, and there's zero coincidences. And Ernie, I'm glad you're good, bro, because all I'm going to say to you is this, and I'm sure a lot of people have had that. First of all, thank you for sharing that personal part of your life. It's meaningful, and I attempted it 4 times. Yeah. And I got clean and sober.
Survivor too, Richie.
Yep. I got
warrior tattoo there
with the little semicolon.
Yeah. So I got sober in 9/21/97, and my life changed. And I remember attempting it at one time, and I won't get into too many details, but I remember the phone ringing. And for some reason, I reached down for the phone, and I was in a very peculiar position because I was going to end it all. And I remember like wobbling, trying to get to the phone. It was very strange, but there is no coincidences, man. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's an amazing story, and you guys are an amazing story. Pretty kick ass, man. Well, seriously. How long you been together?
Since
that day,
since that night, really, which that was in I guess late 2019.
We finally admitted we were a couple in January of 2020. And it was funny because when we were like, okay, are we going to do this? Yeah, let's do this. It was like nothing changed. I mean, obviously the intimacy part of it changed, but as far as our friendship and our comfort level and the things we were doing together, none of that changed.
No,
we were already.
This was her. It is now.
Hey, what'd that mean? Call me. Like, I mean, the way she just throws that thing around, like, "Hey, what are you doing later?" You know,
willy-nilly with that.
Yeah, I gotta go to the store. You know,
because there was never any awkward. We never had that awkward phase.
We never had the dating phase where you got to try to impress or whatever. We were just. She knew who I was. I knew who she was.
We actually
we had been friends.
We told every dark thing we could about ourselves to each other because I think
we were
trying to scare each other away.
Because neither one of us was wanting a relationship, but Sarah kept insisting.
Yeah. Well, Sarah knew what was best for everybody, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you get how do you get to the house you're at right now? Like, how do you get, like, you just told the story how you didn't have anything, right?
She's a travel nurse and she makes bank. So I started a lawn care business and made a little bit of money. When
I moved up here, I had a house that I sold and we got a rental, and I was making enough money. I wasn't traveling at the time, but I was making enough money because COVID had just started to hit. So the nurses
early 2020
making more money.
Right.
And he was able to, he wanted to be in business for himself. And I was like, well, let's go buy you a lawnmower and let you do that. And he got a couple of lawn care contracts. So it was a slow climb out of the hole, but
we're still week to week on.
Yeah, we still struggle from time to time, but
got a stack of them over here that you got to balance. And we can let it slide for another couple of weeks.
You're preaching to the choir. There's times where I was a 14-year-old homeless kid. All right, I'd have a fifth of Jim Beam and a gazebo to sleep under. You know what I mean? Or a friend's house, or a porch, or a car. Right. Somebody would leave their door unlocked. Don't tell my parents. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And there's the good week where you're sitting around, you're looking like, my little ranch, I made it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then there's a good week like, I'm going to lose everything. I'm a loser. I never figured anything out. You know what I mean? So, it's I'm grateful for everything.
Well, I don't want to say I'm grateful for COVID, because obviously there's a lot of reasons why I'm not grateful for COVID. But COVID and travel nursing, we were making $3,600 a week at one point just on my salary. So, we went through the whole thing of the Save Waverly Hills movement when Tina and Charlie had issues and almost lost the building. That allowed Ernie to run that. We ran that whole campaign. It allowed Ernie to be full-time with that for like 3 years.
Basically shut down my business.
And he ran that for 3 years, and I was the breadwinner, but we were okay with that because I was making enough money, and we were able to do that. And then we won that, and the tides turned again, and the money dropped a little bit on the travel nursing. I mean, I'm still making more than I would as a bedside nurse locally, but he's gone back to work now for UPS, and we got this house while I was still doing the travel.
That's when you got the house, right? So you both looked at this old, scary, most haunted friggin' house in Kentucky, and you two Sasquatches in the cemetery go, yeah, that's the one.
Well, you know what's funny? We didn't know it was the most haunted house in Kentucky when we happened upon it.
It wasn't our first choice. There was a house in
We
Bardstown,
have so
Kentucky.
much weird shit that happens, Richie. It is not even, I'm telling you, there is no way. You can't make this shit up.
Exactly.
Oh, it's beautiful.
We had been looking to buy a house, and there was one, like he said, in Bardstown that we had our eye on for a while. And I don't think I was really set on that because I wasn't devastated when we lost it. It was disappointing, but it wasn't like heartbreaking.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to be there anyways.
And this town right here, West Point, was about 15 minutes from where we were living, because we were living 3 minutes from the gate of Waverly Hills. We could see Waverly Hills from our front porch. That's where we lived at the time. And this particular city was kind of run down. We would drive through here 2 or 3 times a week because I love this place.
There's all this little historic.
And I kept saying, I want to get a house there.
History,
but I wanted one of the historic homes, but there was nothing ever for sale. And, as a witch, I kept saying, I need to pee on that lawn, because that's what you do as a witch. You pee on the lawn, you claim your property, and then you get it. Okay. So
wait, what the fuck just happened?
So I kept telling Ernie, I got to go down there and throw some pee on that yard.
And it was the house 3 doors down, actually.
God, Ernie, please don't tell me you were peed on. Just please don't. She just witches pee on things.
That's how you claim your property.
Yeah,
it's a spell. You do a spell and you pee on it. How do you think we won Waverly back, Richie? There was a whole lot of peeing going on.
Lots of spring water. Okay.
Other witches that tossed their pee on Waverly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's twice. Now this is my 26th episode, and you've made me stutter more in one episode than all the ones combined. So, but I'm not surprised. I figured that would happen. Yes. Okay.
So tell me about your experience when this house came available.
Okay, so I'm sitting here.
You're asleep, actually.
I'm asleep. It's 3 a.m, and I'm sleeping like a normal human. Well, Miss Abnormal over here is wide awake searching Zillow. And
what was funny is I put in houses for sale in Louisville. This is West Point.
Right.
This is the first one that popped up.
Yeah. It's like, come in.
She's like, she grabs my leg in the middle of the night. Like I say, I'm asleep. She grabs my leg, squeezes it, and says, "We need this house." Just like that. And I'm like, what's going on? What happened? And she like shoves her phone in my face, like this close where my eyes, I'm like, what? I got to like zoom and focus. It's like, okay, all right. She's like, "We need this house." And I'm like, okay. She said, "You need to call the realtor." I said, "It's 3 a.m. She said, "You call him first thing in the morning." I said, "It's Saturday night. He's not going to answer me on a Sunday morning." She said, "Well, call him, leave a message. I don't care. We don't want to lose out on this house." I'm like, okay. So I call him at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he answers.
Damn.
And make a long story short, by noon.
Oh, it's still there, buddy. It's still there. It's just
still happens too.
Totally. It's there. It's the same, but different. Very different. Thank you for that, Rich.
By noon, we are taking a tour of the house.
Yeah.
We meet the realtor down here. We meet the owners down here. They open the door. We walk 10 feet in the door. We look at the realtor. We say, "We'll take it." He said, "It's 3,700 square feet. Don't you want to see the rest of it?" We were like, "Yeah, but we'll take it."
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see it, but you got to go. It's our house
Like,
now.
no, it's a fair price. We'll take it.
He
And-
tried to negotiate. Our realtor tried to negotiate, and they came back and said, "No, we won't lowball." And we were like, "That's fine. We'll take it."
Yeah.
You know, we were like, just whatever.
Yeah,
Done.
we want the
Good.
house. And so here we are.
Wow.
Well,
That's,
then we research it.
Yeah,
After
because
that,
it's got a historical plaque. It says the Ditto House Inn, 1841. I said, well, I'm going to research and see what it says because, you know, one of the descriptions on the Zillow thing was Civil War Hospital. And so I was like, well, I want to research it and see what else comes up. And when I put in the Ditto House Inn 1841, it pops up one of Kentucky's most haunted houses. I was like, yes. So we did the high five. We were set.
that's freaking amazing. What a story. What a story, man. You guys really should do a show, I think, a weekly show. Because I just like you guys.
We do on
Could you just-
Saturday nights.
Yeah, no, I think you need a GoPro and just walk around and let people
Oh,
watch you.
yeah.
Watch you in your natural habitat and see the shit that happens.
No,
Trust
we've
me,
been
that would-
told we need
that
a
would be a
reality
hit.
show on more than one occasion. And then we get in down here, and Fort Duffield, which is a Civil War fort, is basically in our backyard. We can
Front
see
yard.
it from our front window up there. Well, if you
Yeah.
walk down the trail in our backyard, you get to it.
yeah, well, you got to
Oh,
go
shut-
back around the
shut
front
up.
because it's there.
Shut up. I was right.
That's the front of the house.
You can
The
walk
fort.
that way to it.
Back here, guys. Back
You can walk all the way around the world and get to it if you go that way.
We're taking a commercial break. Please hold. Do, 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 do. No.
And we're back.
We're back. All right. Wow.
But then
All
we
right.
end up
So,
running tours out of that too. So we ended
Yeah.
up with negotiating a deal with the city that got us into Fort Duffield.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, it gets better, Richie.
I imagine it wouldn't get any worse. Go ahead.
We find out after we get into this house that Ernie's mother was born and raised 2 streets over. He didn't know she lived here. His grandfather went to school.
She was born
here,
in Battletown, but raised over here.
raised 2 streets over, or no, 1 street over. Mulberry's
Yeah,
right next
yeah.
door.
Mulberry.
His grandfather's picture is in the 8th grade annual at the school here,
From 1928.
and his 3 great grandfather was the one in charge of building Fort Duffield.
Wow, dude. All right. So clearly you guys were chosen by the house, the land, the energy around there, the ancestors.
wait.
It gets better,
There's
Richie.
more.
All right.
I got to take a break now. Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
I have this, and this is a whole other story for another show. I won't get into all of it, but I have this obsession with Newport, Rhode Island, because I have all these past life experiences that I associate with that area. So I started collecting nautical themed items many, many years ago, like 25, 30 years ago, when I first visited Newport, which happened on a fluke, by the way. And one of the castles that I visited, or mansions, was called Belcourt Castle, and it was built by Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont.
Mhm.
So I have these 3 nautical sea captains that I got off eBay back in the day because pictures
Mhm.
that I was obsessed with because I wanted everything nautical in my house. Well, I've had those hanging in 3 separate houses over the course of 25 years. We're hanging them up downstairs in the dining room. And Ernie gets to looking at him and says, have you ever looked at the names on these? And they're just real tiny. I was like, no, I never really paid that much attention. I just like the pictures. So he's looking at the first one and he says, this says O.H. Perry. It was Oliver Hazard Perry in one of the pictures. So we said, well, let's look and see who these other guys are. So he looks at the other one and it's J.A. Lawrence.
James Lawrence.
James Lawrence. And he was the one that trained Oliver Hazard Perry. And the other one down below was Oliver Hazard Perry's best friend, who is D. Porter.
Joseph Porter. I think.
No, D. Porter.
Okay.
So anyway, we start
It's Captain Porter.
Captain Porter. We start looking at that photo and researching him.
You realize that he's in a Union uniform. He's on an old Ironsides battleship, right?
Yep.
We research him. When the Union took over the town of West Point, Captain Porter sailed down the Ohio River and docked his boat
right behind
right
this
behind
house.
our house here in West Point.
Wow. All right. So
This is a picture she bought 25 years ago.
yeah. So clearly you're connected in past lives. I mean, clearly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Like you guys are connected from past
Yeah.
lives.
Many lifetimes over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that, right? It's not even a discussion anymore. It's like,
Right.
Because I believe the same way, Denise. I'm into the past lives. I know how many lives I've had. I know what I'm supposed to do in order to get to the next level, like all that stuff. Like I've already know that. So I've had great discussions with a lot of people about stuff like that. So now that we're thoroughly like rocked, all right. Like no, seriously, I'm blown away. It's an amazing story, beautiful story too. On top of that, right? How wait. So now let me grasp everything. Let me read Okay, how do we get to Bigfoot? Like, how does that happen now? Now, you just happen to go out with friends, or you see another Bigfoot randomly?
When we were doing that live stream, we were supposed
to. What? You were doing what?
The live stream that.
Live stream?
The live stream.
Where are you from, girl?
The live stream. It was
She's
a live
from
stream.
West Virginia.
It was a live stream.
It sounded like she said lobstering.
We did that lobstering. West Virginia.
West Virginia by way of Tennessee, by way of Kentucky, okay?
She's like 2 states short of the freaking
psychotic trifecta.
Yeah.
She's been landlocked in every state. Every state she's been in, I almost fell over.
On the live stream, we were supposed to be the ghost hunters, obviously, and she brought in Bigfoot people. We were going up to the cemetery on that old logging road at Jefferson Memorial. And the funny thing was, because we kept saying we're not tech people, and she brought a tech guy to kind of look at all of our equipment, make sure it was working right. And we have our equipment on. We start up the trail, and it's just Ernie and I going up through there. Everything shuts off, and we're like, is it batteries or what? Well, we keep walking. We get all the way to the top of the hill, and everything comes back on. And we do our ghost hunting stuff and everything, and then we start back down the trail, and it shuts off again. Well, we're walking on down, and we start seeing footprints that look like something had ran and slid, and it was a big foot. So we're looking, and we're like taking pictures, with our cell phones and stuff, because all of our cameras and everything have died. And we get down to the bottom, and he's still walking and looking. And some reason I thought, turn around. And I turn around and look, and I see something kind of poke its head out and go back. And I'm like, to try to get him to turn around, and he turns around. He's like, what? And I'm like, just keep watching. And then it steps out, and it just stands there. And we're both like, and he actually gets on the phone. He calls. He's like, we're standing here looking at it. She's like, why isn't the camera rolling? He's like, we can't get the equipment to work, but we're standing here looking at it. And it kind of stands there for a minute, and we hear like from one side, and then what was like the
whoop whoop whoop
from behind us,
back over behind us over this shoulder,
and then it just steps off and runs off into the woods, and then all the equipment comes back on. And so we were like, we could not see features, and it was skinnier than that's when we were, because we didn't know anything about Bigfoot. We were told later on it was probably a juvenile because it was tall.
It was not massive like what you would.
It was skinny but it was tall, and it had long hair.
Well, it wasn't skinny by any means,
but it was
like
skinnier than what I would have.
Big enough to be an NFL player or an NBA player.
I was expecting
a heavy set NBA player.
I was expecting Bigfoot to be bigger.
Right. Yeah, husky and broad and shoulders and all that stuff. Yeah, he didn't fill out yet.
Yeah,
it was fit.
It
was fit.
Yeah, it was definitely
like built
fit.
Like a statue.
But then everything we experienced along that path, we started talking to the other people that were with us that were the Bigfoot people, and they were describing to us that
they were saying this is what they do. That's
So
wow.
We ended up on another live stream because we weren't actually at
lobstering?
Lobstering.
Went lobstering again.
At a place called Gates of Hell.
Yeah, Casey Cemetery is what it is.
And that was the first time we were out there walking through the woods, and I saw this weirdest thing, and I told him, I said, I don't know how to describe to you what I just saw. Once again, I don't know anything about tree knocks. I don't know anything about any of it because I never researched it. I said, it looked almost like, the only way I could describe it was in the movie Predator, when that mirrored image is running.
Yes.
I saw it run, and he said, okay.
I thought she was crazy.
So like 10 minutes later,
You're not wrong.
okay, both of you. 10 minutes later, he saw the same thing.
Yeah.
So then Squatch Man Greg Yost, that's when we first met him, shows up and says, oh, you saw a shimmer squatch. We were like, a what? So
he said when they cloak, he said that's what he calls them, shimmer squatch, because they look like that. They're just like shimmery images running through.
We're being asked, do we think it may be possible to summon one? Yes, because when we go out there, we ask them to come in and talk to us and make themselves known.
And this goes back to Rich's question from earlier. How do
Yes.
we get interaction? We just
Right.
talk to them. We don't beat on trees.
No, Claude, you can ask questions whenever, bro.
We don't lay traps or anything. One thing we do, we'll set out donuts.
They like
Raspberry filled Krispy
Krispy
Kreme
Kreme.
donuts seem to be their donut of preference, to be honest.
Yeah, we have set out mixed donuts, like a dozen, and with one of the raspberry filled. And we have come back to check it, and it has been slit open, not tore open like an animal. The Krispy Kreme raspberry filled is gone. The other ones are still untouched.
One time we had
A
two
thumbprint.
donuts that looked like raspberry filled, but only one of them was raspberry filled.
And there was a thumbprint in
There's
the other
a
one.
huge thumbprint in the other one, but the raspberry filled was gone.
Right.
And
Krispy Kreme.
crack. It's crack. But I mean, really, we learned this from Squatch Man. I mean, we watched it the first time he ever did this. We thought this guy is batshit crazy because he walks out to the edge of the forest, holds his hands up. He calls them forest people. He doesn't call them Bigfoot or Sasquatch or any of that. He says,
My
friends, people of the forest, I would love it if you would interact with us, if you would show yourself, show your power, if you could do a vocal for us or anything at all. Just let us know you're here. We would appreciate it. And boom.
He gets results.
We get
every
results.
time.
Do you think though? Let me ask a question because I'm in my all right. Everything I've dealt with is physical. Although I do have one, I believe, is a cloaking incident that I share with that I've just started opening up about, so I didn't feel like such a crazy person, right? No offense to anybody. It's just to me within myself, my own experience, so I can say that. But do you think there's the shimmer squatch, say, right, or the forest people where you communicate with them are different from a Sasquatch, which was named by the Native Americans? I mean, Sasquatch is a Native American name. They interacted with them pretty regularly.
That name comes out of British Columbia, a tribe in British Columbia, Canada, and it simply means tall man.
Right.
But
that's the name they gave them. I mean, it is right. It is
been around forever. And Native American heritage, if you dive deep into it, they believe that they are spirits of the forest.
I believe that they believe that they are a spiritual being in a sense, but there is a physical sense to them.
Yes, and the way Squatch Man described the cloaking, the shimmer squatch, he saw that as cloaking in between because we believe they're interdimensional, spiritual, and it was in between like the physical form and the spiritual form. Like they can take on both personas.
All right, so I had an incident with my daughter, and this is I'll just say it. And I've shared it a few times, like maybe 3 times, like maybe once on my show. I don't know. But my daughter was here. She was like 15. We were standing there. I brought her out to the edge of what I believe is my property and theirs, so to speak, right? I have a very candid relationship with them as well, right? So I thank them. I wave to them, the whole 9 yards. I talk to the woods. My neighbors think I'm nuts. Whatever. I don't care. I'm drawn to do that. I'm not normally like that when I go near the woods. Like, hello, woods, it's me, Richard.
Hey, Richie.
It's just not something I do. But since I've had these experiences, come over here, stupid. You know what I mean? But no, so we go out there and there's these 2 trees and there's a stick or a tree. It goes across the other tree like an upside down A. I noticed it a long time ago, and long story short, it was perfectly level. That's what got my attention. It was 7 feet up. That got my attention. And then I looked up, and there's all these other branches. I'm like, there's no way that fell like that. And then I go to this end and it splits and it wraps around the tree. And I'm like, okay, you need thumbs for that. So I set my kids quickly back to the house, blah, blah, blah. So we'll walk out to there and I'm standing there. I had said something more than likely, hello, you know, blah, blah, blah. This is my daughter, you know what I mean? Hello, Woods, you know, and we're standing there and I'm hearing something. And as a paranormal investigator, I validate through other people. So I don't lead or I don't tell. I don't say nothing. I go, what are you hearing right now to my daughter? She says, Dad, something very big is running towards me, but I cannot see it. She goes, I can hear it like on the ground. And I went, okay, turn around and hit the game trail. Because this is what I heard. I heard this huge thing coming at me, not one tree break, not one branch movement. Nothing. It was do.
Just the footballs.
It was coming. Football. Boom, 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 boom.
Isn't that what happened when you ran behind the van like a little girl?
It was. Listen, it makes you want to run behind a van like a little girl. Trust me. I had an airsoft gun, so I was safe.
You get something big running at you that you cannot see when you're in an area where you feel like there's Sasquatch activity. It can be a little unnerving.
It is very unnerving, especially when you got your 15-year-old daughter and you go run for the house. Now when like Dave McCullough and all them from BFRO and Squatchachusetts were there, I told this story and she was there. So I said, and what happened, Riley? And then she said, my dad looked at me and said, and then I said this. So it was validating to them that I shared my story too. So that's how I wanted to do it, was validate it like a paranormal investigator. So you can mix the two a lot, right? Mm-hmm. It was absolutely freaking nuts, and I refused to believe it forever. It was something that my mind, in this simplicity of a world, simplified, right? I couldn't grasp it. Like even I was like, "Oh, don't say that out loud." You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what, honest to God, happened on all 6 of my kids. I'm telling you.
Well,
that's what happened.
The gates of hell, standing at the edge, looking down, trying to see. It was dark, wasn't it? It was like dusk.
We had heard like a tree break or branch break or something down there,
and so we were looking.
We weren't shining a light
because they don't like white light. We don't use white light.
Don't do that. I recommend you don't do that. And so we're looking and listening, and then suddenly we heard.
Just running up the hill.
I mean, it just was accelerating, and it was huge coming up the hill toward us. And I mean, it got within like 50 yards. And back then, I always carried a gun when I was out there. So I mean, I pulled the 45 and I stepped behind the van, and I'm like, like what is going to come out of the woods here? What is this? I look up and Denise goes running right down range from me. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, what are you doing? This is what we're here for. She said, yeah, and I want to see it. And I'm like, okay. So I put the gun back in the holster. And I'm like, okay. Well, it gets up it had to be within, 30 yards of us?
I never saw it. I could hear it.
And it just stops.
Yeah, I was running towards it and it just stopped. I guess, I don't know if I freaked it out or what, because I ran right at it.
Well, then we did get out the spotlights, and we're lighting that forest up, and there is nothing that would have made that sound. But there were 3 of us there that, all had that. We all heard it coming, and but it just vanished. How else do you explain it? We looked up in the trees, well, maybe it went up in the tree. We look up in the tree. There's nothing.
Yep.
I am familiar, but I'm not well versed on them. Like I have definitely read stuff, but I haven't done a lot of research.
Yeah.
I
think it.
I let you know about. Hang on. I let you know about Claude already, right?
Yes. He's
bringing it.
He's a smart guy.
He's very smart.
I have heard of the Lovelock Cave Giants. As a matter of fact, have you, Claude, heard of Daniel Boone's encounter with a Bigfoot where he claimed he killed one and put it in a cave?
I'm almost positive Claude has.
Yeah. And, Daniel Boone, famous Kentuckian, well revered around here. One of the greatest explorers in the history of our country.
Yep.
And, he wrote in his memoirs about, allegedly killing one.
Yep.
Because it attacked his son.
We also, another thing that we were doing the Bigfoot thing for a couple years before I guess it didn't occur to us, just like spirits can follow you from locations, that Sasquatch can too. And that doesn't mean that you're going to turn around and see a physical form in your house, but their spirit, I guess, can follow you. Because we had been out in the woods for a couple of days with Squatch Man and came home, and there was a huge Bigfoot print in the dust in the dining room. Like you could see where, like right on the threshold.
Did you send me a picture of that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to that. But one thing I want to bring up real quick, because I went past it and it was during the time we were talking some serious stuff, and Purple Blur was very kind. I wanted to make sure you guys saw that. I wish to state that it helps my faith in humanity to know that you two exist as individuals, and two, that you found each other. We don't know each other, but based on the few times I've seen / interacted with y'all, I get this sense that you are great people, great souls. Thank you for being you and sharing yourselves. I thought it was important that you guys.
I don't know your name, Purple Blur, but thank you for that.
We appreciate that.
We'd be happy to interact anytime.
Yeah. Yep. No, I wanted you to see that, and we just call him Blurple at this point.
Blurple.
What's up, Blurple? So what we're gonna. So with all this stuff that we're talking about, with the evidence and everything. Oh, here we go. The crazy thing about that story, it took place before Bigfoot was a topic. Which story? Not the Daniel Boone, or the Daniel Boone, or the Giants?
That was before the Patterson Gimlin footage, or
yeah. Well, you're talking Daniel Boone, yeah. That's why I was wondering if it was which story he was just talking about. Let me go. Oh, you know what? I got this stuff right here. Oh, wait.
Wojo, I don't know Indian language enough. All I know is Wado, which means greetings, basically. That's all I know.
Yep. I speak Sasquatch. See, that's it.
Actually had a recording where he left a recorder on his gifting stump one time, and that's how it sounds.
That's what I heard.
I mean, it's
100%. Me and two others.
I mean, it's clear as a bell. It's just like what you just described. And in the midst of all of that, you hear him say Yahweh like 3 times.
Yep.
Yahweh, Yahweh.
Yep.
And that's another word for Jesus. He believes that they're spiritual creatures sent their guides. He's very Christian in his beliefs. We have a wide range of beliefs. We're Christian, Christio-pagan, if you will. But I mean, very well could be based on what we've experienced with them. I don't think they're just a dumb ape. I mean, I think they're way, way more than just a dumb ape.
Yeah, you and I agree with that. I think we've had that discussion earlier too. So actually, let me reset this.
We have had instances where, that night that you got jolted.
Yeah. Greg Bakken had the same.
Yeah, Greg Bakken was there that night too. He does another Ghost Box Radio.
Oh yeah. I was watching his show, and I was actually conversing with him pretty well about the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah, he was here. He came and visited, and he had his first Bigfoot experience with us because we said, you're going to have an experience, and we took him out, and he saw one step out, and he got touched. But what was it? You weren't feeling well or something. I can't remember.
I was just needing a boost. I felt like I needed some freaking hormone therapy or something. I just was run down and just drained in every way, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I just felt empty. And we were out there by the gifting stump, and we started to go back toward the campsite, and I felt a huge hand in the middle of my back, and I mean, my knees buckled. I just fell to my knees.
Jolt of electricity.
Yeah, it was like a jolt of electricity went through my body, and I mean, I was like rattled. I was like just vibrating.
Good
and
Lord.
Everybody turned around and looked at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I just got to get my wits about me again." And I stood up, and I mean, I was energized. I felt great. And I firmly feel that they knew that I needed energy.
They gave it to me. I have felt on one occasion that I've been out there, you know, when I have felt a bit down or something, I'll just kind of walk out by myself because they'll all be around the campfire and I'll kind of step out in the woods alone and I'll kind
like an idiot.
And I'll kind of talk to them a little bit. And it's almost like I feel like
yeah.
a little juice from them too. I mean, it's like they're helpful.
Right. Well, that land sounds energized too, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds pretty magical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a crazy, the forest where Squatchman takes us most of the time is incredibly active in a lot of ways. And Fort Duffield is as well. Gates of Hell, where we had several experiences, is very active in a lot of ways.
You are right in the middle of it. And to kind of go over like some of the things you're saying, I'm going to bring up some visuals because there's some questions going on.
Yeah, Johnny asked if we found any.
Yeah. And we'll get to that, right? So
yeah.
There's my cool Bigfoot. You like him?
Movie series. Yeah, we need a movie.
And then I put you guys' name in little letters down bottom.
Yeah, I see that. I see it. Richie B with Denise and Ernie Pack.
That shit ain't right.
Watch logo with the headphones and plain block print down here, real tiny.
Look at Rich. You from the forest.
Not that kind of juice, Rich.
Oh God,
Rich. It really.
I know, troublemaker, right? I'm just gonna blame everything on Bobby Lee. So that makes sense.
Johnny, we've never been fearful. He's asking if I have never been afraid ever.
Not since we've understood them. You know, we've got an understanding now that they are not out to be aggressive or hurt us. But go ahead.
No, absolutely. So Purple Blur is looking for a movie out of you guys and hashtag.
If you know any producers, tell them give us a call.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, where's this one located? I just want to know locations.
This is in Southern Indiana. It's at an undisclosed location in Southern Indiana where Squatchman takes us. He calls it his forest. It's actually a state forest, but he's got some special little areas back there that are off the beaten path where we go. And
and most of these photos, well, I think we've taken some of there's the footprint that was in our dining room right there.
I'll get to that.
You get it first. Some of these photos we have taken, some of them Todd and Leanne Eskew have taken. Some of these we've taken off of Squatchman's Facebook. So we're not the sole owner of these, but I don't think any of them will be upset for us sharing them.
No, absolutely.
And this arch right here, how you see the tree is broken. That is like the root end of the tree that's up high there, the one that's leaning over top.
I see it.
That's the root end of the tree that's up top. Okay, so that didn't just fall like that.
No.
Okay, and that arch, if you stand under it, I mean, it's probably 15, 20 feet up to where the cross piece is.
We have not had any dogmen experiences, although we've caught a couple of weird photos that Squatchman thought might have been dogmen, but I can't really say that they were.
Interesting. Now, everybody look closely. This is the footprint she's speaking of.
Yep, that was in our dining room after we'd spent a weekend in the woods with Bigfoot.
I wear a size 13 shoe.
And that was
a good inch wider or 2 inches wider than my foot and probably 4 or 5 inches longer than my foot. So that would have been a size 17 or 18 foot. And nobody in this house has that big of a foot.
Well, you could just see how flat and how pushed out the ball is too. I mean, you start seeing enough of these things. They're really blocky. I mean, some of them
that Ernie needs to sweep and mop a little more frequently.
Yeah.
Well, that was right after we moved in, actually. We hadn't even touched that part of the house.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad you left it dirty that day.
Yeah.
Leanne says you guys stood underneath that figure, trying to figure out that structure.
Todd is an engineer, and so his brain
automatically goes to that.
He's been out there looking at all of that without explanation.
Yep. And Wojo, my buddy, he has a friend of his down in University of Georgia who's a tree guy. That's what he does. He researches trees and how they grow and how they die and what can kill them and what, all that stuff. And we send him pictures and the guy's still scratching his head. He's like, I've never seen like that. He's really freaked out by the twists. Like I got a lot of 180 and I even have a 360 twist. which it's exploded all the way around in a circle and pushed to the ground. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we go through all that stuff. What's this dining room? That's nuts.
Yeah.
You must love Denise's cooking.
She doesn't cook, Wojo. She doesn't cook.
We don't have any food in our refrigerator because I don't
Unless
cook.
it's leftovers from the steakhouse.
Yeah, Wojo's drinking moonshine. Don't entertain him.
I have not had any.
No, those scams.
Todd has. Todd's
Todd
had an
could
encounter
talk to you about
with a
Wendigo.
Wendigo.
With a Wendigo?
Yeah, you got to talk to the Todd. You got to have him on and let him tell you about the Wendigo.
The Todd.
The Todd.
Have your people call my people. Have your people call my person. Let's see. Curved or arch trees. Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot. I have some perfect. Do you see those arches as portals? I mean, some people talk about them as portals.
Watchman's got he's got several of them that he's pointed out to us that the end of the tree is actually shoved down into the ground.
Yeah, I got a couple of those on my property.
And he said, that creates an energy field. I mean, just like if you ground, I mean, wood is a good conductor. And it's just like if you ground something, and he said he believes that they use that as an energy source or a portal, if that makes any sense.
No, I don't know what makes sense anymore with this subject. It's crazy.
Todd is saying over here about Sasquatch liking to throw things. Every time Todd goes in the woods with us, they throw something at him. Now, they never hit him, so I don't think they're trying to hit him, but they play games with him. Every time he's out there, they throw
And
stuff.
I mean, you can hear him coming through the trees from way back in the woods. You'll hear bam right next to the Todd. Every time we're out.
Well, that's what's funny is I was just talking with Wojo about this because I brought Bigfoot in with a fan, my second fan out, Bigfoot, and Wojo was the first, and he won't even leave me alone. The guy's still following me, weirdo. And J-Lu went out with me the other day, and they all got weird names, right? It's all softball guys, you know what I mean? Everybody's got a nickname.
Everybody's got
sports, especially in Boston. You got Sully and Fitzy, you know what I mean? But yeah, so we're standing there, and I've been out there again. I've owned the property since 2002. I've never had nothing thrown at me. Four sticks the other day. 4 sticks. J-Lu's out there, boom, right by his foot. He jumps. Next one, I thought he's a big dude. He's huge. And he's like, what was that? And I'm like, dude, I don't know what is going on with you, but stay away from me. Like I don't have these problems.
Todd brings a practical helmet when we have events now to try to keep himself safe.
well, no, I kind of wonder now that if there was something that they get attracted to in that sense. Is there something about Todd where they're throwing things? Is it something about J-Lu? Because Wojo's been out there a dozen times. He's never had it thrown at him. I've been out there off and on forever. I've never had nothing thrown. I've had thrown stuff in my yard. It's always when I'm in my yard. It's like they're trying to get my attention. I've been hit with an acorn right between the freaking eyes. I mean, these dudes are good. If they want to hit you, they're gonna hit you.
They got good aim, and they got a strong arm.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But everything that was thrown was typically like a tomahawk. Like you could grab it and throw it. It was a throwable type thing. It wasn't a big thing. I'm gonna hurt you. It was like, hey, ding-a-ling, I'm here.
Yeah.
And you could hear us in the video go, oh shit, the bird stopped. Everything goes quiet. The whole forest went still, and we're just standing there, and all of a sudden, yeah, boom, on the ground. And J-Lo goes, did you hear that? What was that? And you look down, you can still see the stick moving. And it was broken on each side.
Yeah.
And it was like a brown, not a blonde. So it wasn't like something just broke off and fell. It was still fresh, but it was like the brown color. And I look up and I counted 17 branches it would have had to fall if it was falling from a tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have heard it rattling around on its way down.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It would have had 17 branches to hit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Oh, there you go. There you go. There's an arch for you. Who asked that? I think it was Johnny.
Yeah. That's pretty wild there. How it's twisted around the other tree and then pulled back. I mean, that's, you can't say that is, like snow or anything like that. I mean, I don't, I wouldn't think that, you had a tornado come through there and do that.
I mean, it just blows shit up. I can't see how that happens, but
right.
I mean, to me, listen, I go through these things. I either way, structures Either way, yeah. Wojo heard that stick hit on
the live.
on the live. Yeah. So yeah. So either way, I believe research. If you're going to be a researcher, for me, and there's a lot of guys that have you found this as well with the structures. There's no in between. It's either yes or no, and it's just it's nobody's like, oh, I don't know. You know, there's never that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some that we see that we think might be structures, and then we look at them and we can debunk them. We can say, oh no, this is the branch. You can see where it's broke off over
right.
There. It fell wedged in that bough, and then the weight just slowly pulled the other one down, so it looks like it's bowed down. Yeah, and that's what we do. We don't just jump to everything. That's Bigfoot did that. Every we see in the woods is not Bigfoot activity, but when you see it, that this is not natural.
Correct. And I got something at the end where I'm going to show everybody too. That's mine. There's a couple of mine mixed in here too, because Bobby Lee made this slideshow up. Andrew. Yeah, Andrew heard it twice during the live. Something getting thrown at us.
Yeah.
It was thumping. And one, I got to get my GoPro. Thursday is supposed to rain. I don't have to work. So I'm going to pull up my GoPro card because my head was like this and my GoPro was on my head. And I could have sworn it came this way and hit the log right in front of me and broke in half. And I was like, whoa, dude, another stick. And I'm like, and he's standing on the other side of the log. I'm like, he's over there, dude. Like, he's over there. Look,
here's a word of advice to you. Here's a word of advice to you. As I'm by no means an expert, but just going from what I've learned from someone I consider as knowledgeable and as good in the forest with the forest people as anyone on this planet, that's Squatch Man. If you're going to film or take pictures, let them know.
Yep.
Say it, announce it. Say, look, I've got a camera. If you want to be on, I'd love it if you would show yourself, allow me to take a picture, get some video. Because again, like we were saying before the show, I think they know your intentions and they know your energy before you ever step foot in the forest. Yep. And if they want to show themselves to you, they will. But if they don't, they won't. And if you go out there just trying to trap them with a trail cam or something like that,
I made that mistake.
It will work.
I made that mistake. I got a picture I'll show you off screen because it's something that's controversial, so I don't bring it up here. But it's pretty crazy, and it has to do with the trail cam. And they put it this way: I know what you know, what I know that you know that I know. That's what that's what the message was. And I was like, got it. I go, got it.
Exactly.
I now know.
You know what I mean? Message whether you
ask for it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And I've actually had a gift and stump, by the way, and I got a piece of lichen back. It was a perfectly torn piece of lichen off a tree.
Really?
So my story is I left oatmeal raisin cookies out on my stump because I told my buddy about all the shit that was happening. He was a Bigfoot guy. I was not. They came to me. I didn't go to them. So you know what I mean? So I was like, what is going on in my backyard, bro? And he's like, sounds like you got a family there. And I'm like, family of what? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I go out there and I go, hey, I'm bringing you some cookies. I said, these are my favorite cookies. They're oatmeal raisin cookies. Again, the neighbor's like, oh, shit. And I'm
crazy guys in the woods again.
I'm holding up the cookies and I'm yelling out. And I said, I'm going to put them here on this stump. And I took two little branches and I put sapling branches and I put them on either side of the cookie. So if a little squirrel or something got up there, you could see that the branches were moved or whatever, or a bird was hopping, right?
Right.
So 2 or 3 days go by. Now here's the mind-blowing thing. Nothing touches my cookies. Nothing. Not even nothing. Like not even a bug.
He didn't get his cookies touched.
That's bad for you. When
I'm out there. People of the forest, I need my cookie touch. Please come here by this stump at once. I'm going to sacrifice a certain area of myself for you. You started it, Denise. So, not a surprise. So 3 days go by, nothing happens. Well, the fourth day I go out there pissed off. And I'm like, really, guys? I'm like, really? I'm really disappointed more than pissed. I'm like, those are my favorite type of cookies. They're still sitting here. This is crazy. Like, what's going on, But nothing else touched it. Not a bird, not a squirrel, not a bug, nothing. The next day after doing that, I come out and I got pictures of it. There's a perfect little torn piece of lichen, like you peel it off a bark off a tree, is laying right between the saplings. Perfect.
And the cookies gone?
And the cookies are gone. And I'm going like this. of all the things to convince me, if there's anything in this world you wanted to convince me that something else put that there besides the magic whirlwind or a squirrel or a bird or whatever else might have been. First of all, there were no crumbs anywhere. The saplings would never move. And there was a perfectly torn piece of lichen.
Yeah, they gave you a gift back.
Oh, no, I know, but it's the gift. It's not a rock. It's not a leaf. It's a torn piece of lichen. It's the craziest thing you'd ever imagine in your life. And there it was. I couldn't believe it. I still can't. You could tell?
Well, like the Blue Liner 33 says, he must have likened you.
Oh, shit. I looked up and saw it, and I went, oh, shit. Yeah, I did. I got a gift, and I'm so grateful for it. And I have a picture of that lichen.
That's Santa.
Yeah, it was amazing. I've gotten a gift after that as well. And it was actually a nut that was broken in half, and it was shaped like a heart. The nut was broken perfectly in half, shaped like a nut. So I went, of course, I started looking, I'm going, I've never seen that here. You know what I mean? I got 3 acres and it abuts 94 acres of conservation. So I'm out there looking around everywhere for this tree that has this freaking nut on it. Yeah. So two and a half years later, I'm out a mile up from my house is what's called the Taunton River. It's a huge river in the Bridgewater Triangle. 1.1 mile from my property. I go all the way out there. I'm walking around my boy Mike Trainer, who's a great investigator in our area as well. I'm walking around. I go, Mike. He's like, what? I go, there it is. He's like, there's what? I was like, dude, the nut that I've been looking for. I'm like, he's like, your second wife's here? No, I'm just kidding. Back to that. So I hold it up. I go, this is what's on my stump, dude. This is that gift I've been telling you about. He goes, holy, because he knew the story.
Yeah.
It was a mile and a half. It was nowhere to be found for 2.5 years. It was crazy. Anyways, I got electric with this shit. That's why we're here, right?
Oh,
we get it.
I'm with you, brother. Trust me.
Is that the same one or is that a different one?
That might be the very first one you showed. I think it was a different angle of that one. That one right there.
Yeah,
that's
I think that's the same one, taking it from a different angle.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and you can see how tall it is.
Yeah, magic whirlwind.
And underneath it, so you can see how much taller it is than us.
I thought, Mojo.
Yeah, that's Squatch Man there in the blue shirt. Squatch Man is like 6'5".
Yeah, that's 20 feet up all day, bro.
I mean,
you'll need a ladder for that.
12, 15 feet up there.
It might be more than that. You'd be surprised how quick those feet add up.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's me. Is that mine?
That second one you showed was mine with the skull.
Yeah, but this one's mine right here. Whoa, that's the one. Yeah, Bobby Lee slid this in. That's a print I found. Me and Wojo found in an undisclosed location.
Right.
I always wanted to say that in a sultry voice. You know what I mean?
Grab the mic.
Like, yeah, you got to find it, but it's in an undisclosed location.
There you go.
That's huge. That's what she said.
She being you. What's going on here, man? Is that a dog?
Outside of one of the what Squatch Man calls them hooches, the lean-tos that they make, and that was found outside of one of the hooches.
Yeah,
really.
Where this hair
came from.
Oh yeah, show. Wait. I'm gonna do this real quick. Let me pull this down. There you go. Yeah, show it.
Squatch Man has a huge wad of this, but we took a little sample because we're touching it and everything, and typically they say don't touch it, but that's some Squatch hair.
And that has been tested, you said to me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it came back unknown biological sample. I mean, they can't pin it on any animal at all.
Oh, that's so freaking amazing. Have you ever thought about leaving out a bunch of old bed sheets to see if they incorporate themselves in their structures?
I haven't thought of that. But we did find a structure. We attributed it to campers or tweakers or somebody else.
But we
found tweakers again.
Humans. We found a structure that had
Where's Terrell?
Yeah. had a tarp woven in it. And everything about the structure said Squatch because it was all broken branches that were big branches that were snapped. Okay. They weren't cut, they were snapped. And I mean, we're talking branches that are, 4 or 5 inches in diameter. And anyway, it was built into like a little hut and had a tarp kind of woven in between the branches. And we thought, well, that's an elaborate camp out for a homeless person or something. You know, we didn't know.
Ernie's back. He doesn't have any hair on his back.
I was gonna say,
He doesn't have any on his head either. So
Native American.
I don't have any on my leg.
he,
that's what I
Native
say.
American. He doesn't have any hair. He's
That's
like,
like-
That's my foot. That's my big foot.
You got hair on the bottom of your feet. That's weird.
Either. Whoa, Joe.
Claude, we do think that the Sasquatch can be dealt with because we communicate with them. We pull out our ghost hunting equipment and ask questions. They communicate, they'll answer, they talk to us. They know our names. We can ask, what's our name? And they will say Ernie, Denise. They'll say Greg's names. And then we'll say, well, what's he best known by? They'll say Squatch Man. Like they do things for us and communicate with us.
Bonkers. That's just bonkers. No,
Yeah.
no, what is this that they killed here? What anybody know what animal that is?
We think it might be a
maybe?
coyote. And like I say, this is right outside of the hooch. And yeah, we have used spirit boxes and recorders, and we've got responses on all of them.
REM
You know
pods.
what's funny about this picture? The hut that we found in Western Mass had a deer shed outside of it.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting. Roger, don't you agree, bud? I mean, because I think that because what we've been trying to do, like Brian Terrell was here earlier. He was the one that I don't know if you ever watched that show that he was on, but in 1996 is when he's got into Bigfoot, and he says that there was a sighting, and then when no one was around, basically he went into the woods where the sighting was, and he looks up, and the first thing he sees is this obscure structure that didn't make any sense to him. And I'm over here going, hallelujah, right? Because nobody wants to talk about him. So when he said it, and he goes, and the first thing I thought was a tweaker.
Mm-hmm.
So he's from Oklahoma. So I go, what'd you just say? And he goes, tweak.
I did see that show.
Yeah, he goes, tweaker. And I go, so you thought, I go, what's a tweaker to you? Well, basically, because it's Oklahoma. I don't know if they have different lingo. He goes, meth head. I said, so you went out in the woods and thought a tweaker built the structure?
Take care, Johnny. It's
Nice to meet you.
Great having you in the chat. Hope to hear from you again, brother.
Johnny, make sure you like and subscribe, man. Follow me on Banter with Richie
Plug your
B.
damn phone in. And watch the rest of the show.
Yeah, well, they don't have any plugs out there in Texas, bro.
In Texas, you don't have power. You said it's beautiful. So,
weather's beautiful, but battery's 18%. Well, gee, if that ain't easier. Well, hey, I got to get going. My
Trying to
mom
get away
called.
from you guys.
he's making up an excuse now.
Oh, man. Johnny's lying to us. Whatever, Johnny.
How can we tell the difference between Sasquatch and other entities? Well, we ask them. We ask, is this the forest people or is this a spirit? And we get interaction from them. They will answer those questions.
We tend to believe most of the time the responses that we're getting. We don't think that we're being deceived. People talk a lot about, well, demons will deceive you. Yeah, they will. But in 30 years of investigating, I might have encountered 3 demons. They're very rare.
Right.
So I tend to believe spirits or the forest people or any of the entities that we interact with when they.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it that much and you're getting that reaction, you know what I mean? Now, when you see prints, are they similar to what this looks like here?
Very similar. Very similar.
So it's in my video on my YouTube page. Banter with Richie B. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Smash it.
Yeah. So I came walking up. I could see this from 20 feet away, dude. I was like, what is this? And I even reenact it in the video, but behind it, you see other like little steps, but they're washed kind of from the water. Whereas in this one, you can see like almost a little angle of a mound. So it's kind of like in a little bit of an angle. I think that's what saved it. So we're like 2 miles out, and I got Scaniverse. I don't know if you ever heard of Scaniverse. Scaniverse, SCANI verse, all one word. Get that, download it, free app, and you can literally scan this while you're out there. If you don't have any caster, any plastic cast or anything, you can scan it and then inspect it much closer. What the hell was that? You all right?
Our Adobe Creative Cloud has some updates available, apparently.
I'm thinking I'm getting worried because of the weather. What the fuck is this?
Self-illuminating eyes.
That is eye shine.
I got
that
that.
is taken in the middle of the forest. There's a campfire. You can see the light on the trees. There's a campfire going. That's what is lighting the trees up.
And
this is actually zoomed in and cropped from a much bigger picture.
Yeah.
There is nothing out there that lights up. Okay. That is way too far back to be a reflection from the campfire. But it's also about 10 or 11 feet off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just symmetrically aligned. It doesn't, that right there wins it for me. I mean, it's almost identical and spaced perfectly, and you can see everything in that. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh, Shadow Side. What's up, brother?
We think that it could be because they've cloaked and they've went from their physical form to their spiritual form.
Energy form. Yeah.
It does look Amityville Horror to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you see that in the forest, and that's one of the things that, Squatch Man will do I know we keep bringing him up, but I mean, he's our mentor in the.
No, I watched the show with him. Yeah. Very interesting dude.
He will, ask him, can you show me your beautiful eyes? Yeah. And usually when he does that, we will see eye shine like that. I mean, and you'll see them blink, you'll see, you'll be able to tell when they're turning their head. And sometimes it'll light up the area around them, in front of them, because they're self-illuminated. It's not just reflections.
And they're different colors. Sometimes red, we see blue. Red, and red doesn't mean they're angry. They just have different colored eyes like we do. So we see all kinds of different colored eyes. There's the hooch that the coyote was found outside of.
Now, you can't tell how big this is from that picture. There's another picture. Did you send them the one with Cora standing on it?
There's
stop. Don't. Sorry, they're out of order. I apologize.
That's okay.
Because there's another one of these in here. Yes. So,
with my daughter standing up above it. That's the one that kind of shows the perspective.
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much.
That's pretty.
And when we looked at all of that, all the branches on that, again, they're all broken. They're not cut. It's not in an area. Yeah. It's not in an area where there's a bunch of branches laying around. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just in an unusual spot. When you get in, I mean, I've actually crawled in there. That's not there now. I mean, someone's torn it down or it's just gone. But
they tear them down, man. I told you, I got structures all getting torn down all the time. After I look at them, they're like, "All right, you done?"
Yeah. I'm like 6 foot tall, and I had plenty of room to get in there and stretch out. I mean, it's there's branches on the other side of the tree, and it kind of comes out. It's wider. It's not. Even with that picture and her there to give you some perspective, you can't tell just how big it is. But I mean, it's like a little wigwam in there.
Was there other pictures of the branches going back in that slant? Was that this one? Or is that something different?
That's something different.
Okay, yeah, I thought it might have been, yeah.
I'm trying to think what that is.
That was just, I don't know if we thought that might be another hooch because the way it was kind of laying, that's in that same area, but it was up on the hillside.
Yeah.
That looks more like an ambush hut that I see around here. With like I have a lot of the game trails. Sometimes you'll see something like a lean-to type of effect, or they'll rip a tree down and kind of sit in the bushes, reach out, snap a deer with their forearms or whatever they got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's that same one that we sent you earlier with Squatch.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, I showed again because of the height. You can see the height of it there.
Yeah, and like I say, he's 6'5". I mean, the guy sitting there is 6'5".
Yeah, that's up there pretty good, man.
It's up there.
Purple Blur asked about that's that wad of hair that we got our sample from right there.
That's a whole wad of hair, and that was found where?
In that hooch.
That's freaking nuts, dude. Mojo, you seeing this stuff, bro?
I think it's the result of. I would think it's the
result. It's the result of it being zoomed in and cropped. I mean, it gets pixelated.
Yeah.
I mean, if you zoom in any further, it gets
even more
distorted.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they're more eye shaped when you see them. I mean, they are. you know,
They're kind
like
of oblong, right? Kind of oblong.
Yeah.
They're not like round, you know, some animals are round. They
Shaped
look
like that.
kind of like ours.
Yeah. This is my property here. I mixed in some of mine
Yeah.
because I like it. People's advice. You see what I'm
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I see
that's-
toes all the way up there.
yeah, correct. So this was me and Wojo out there. Nose here.
No, yeah, that's some long. I mean, I got some nose hair, but that is some of those hairs are about.
So we found
Probably
what we found was like little hooch area out in my back property, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was really like 0 degrees, and it just snow rain mixed, and everything froze. And you saw a line of like crunches. You know what I mean? And this one here was defined, and there was a hill not too far from this one, but this is the most defined one that I could grab. And you can see all the snow kind of fell in on it. And now I showed this to my 13-year-old. I said, "What do you see here?" And he goes, "Oh, that looks like a foot, Dad," like right away. And I said, "Why is that?" And he says, "Because you can see the separation in the toes."
You can see the separation in the toe and the famed metatarsal break.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, right. Because you can see where it's kind of clean, and then it on either side's breaking.
Yeah.
So and he picked right up on the toes. Like I said, he's like Denise was talking about her upbringing. Same thing. These kids are just taught to be open-minded and love it. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry. Back to this. I had a question about this. How big is this piece of hair? Approximate.
It's wide about like that.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a clump.
The little patch you can see the little patch laying over on the tailgate there by itself. That's what we got here.
Right here.
Gotcha.
Squatchman allowed us to pull that off of it.
We tried. He didn't want that touched, so he gave.
So he could get it analyzed.
A few of us were able to get samples, and we actually used gloves to pull the samples off, so we didn't contaminate the original piece.
Yeah, and it feels coarse. And the other thing I was going to ask you: have you dipped it in water?
We have not. We haven't done
that.
No,
we pulled it out, put it in that plastic bag from that night when that picture was taken, and it's been in that plastic bag except for when we get it out to show people ever since.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was wondering though, if you take it and see if the repellent kind of get the repellent effect, so we have a better idea how they're living out there, walking around in the rain. Do you find more activity in the rain?
Yeah, because we had 7 trees pushed over one night when Squatchman asked them to do something epic, and within 15 minutes, 7 trees fell over.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So
all around us at a safe distance. I mean,
yeah, me and Woj are talking about going out in the rain, and yes, Woj, he said it smelled. It smelled like your
Yes.
Yeah. It smelled like what was it?
It was kind of like wet dog
urine.
Yeah.
Wojo's Old Spice.
Yeah, Wojo's Old Spice. Yeah. It smelled just like. I mean, I can smell Wojo from here sometimes.
1989 Polo.
No, it was actually really repulsive.
It actually doesn't smell at all now.
I mean, it's been a couple. It's what, 3 years old now? 4?
Yeah. Claude, I think that
gifts can be suppressed. I think we all have gifts.
I think everybody is born with gifts. It just
100%.
depends on if you're told, if you spend your whole life with someone telling you that doesn't exist, you can't do that, then you're going to push it down and not even explore the option and just pretend it doesn't exist. And I believe that your gifts can be taught, because I believe if you get around the right people, which I have found my tribe between Ernie, Beth Allen, Todd Eskew, Leanne Eskew. I don't feel like I have to be suppressed, so I can show who I am, and I feel like that has
opened it
has
up.
opened and enhanced my gifts.
Yeah, wide open, and I agree with that at 100%. My aunt called me to do a reading on her friend's house, because my aunt is that person for me, or was that person for me. So I was always open with her, and I could tell her anything, and she wouldn't look at me like I was crazy. So I was very comfortable. So when she asked me to do a reading on a house, she says, "A really dear friend of mine," and I'm like, And all of a sudden, it took me a second, but because that person was connected, that it made me feel at ease. And about 3 minutes in, I was just spilling the beans, and the confidence, as you said, Denise, I'm always confident in my abilities. I kind of just, oh no, I hope that was right type of feeling sometimes. And 2 days later, the homeowner called me back freaking out, because she went down to town hall and verified the husband, the wife, the land, the farm, what they grew, the whole 9 yards. So, it was pretty crazy. So what you're saying, I feel, is true, because my aunt was there. I was able to be comfortable and just open up. So Ronnie asks, is that hair from shedding? Feet? Was it pulled? Was it ripped out? Was there any kind of skin? What do you think it might have been?
We've looked at it. We didn't see any like hide at the end of it or anything like that.
Right.
And I don't believe it's from feeding because it wasn't in a pile of scat or anything. It was just a wad of hair. I think it's from shedding. And it's no, I don't believe they said maybe it was feeding on a lost dog. I don't believe that's the case because
it was DNA,
DNA tested and it didn't come back as a canine hair. It came back as an unknown biologic sample.
Exactly.
Unknown biologic source.
Gotcha.
That's what they said. They said it was, did come from a living being, but just nothing that matched anything in their database.
Exactly. And Ernie, I talked to you about this with Wojo. He's bringing it up. There's some validation for you with the story I was telling you.
Yeah.
Because Wojo already asked because I had never gotten the smell. So I wanted to know from these guys what the smell was like. And he kind of confirmed what we were smelling.
I'll tell you, to be a little bit better descriptive of it, if you took a skunk with body odor, rolled it in piss, and then threw it into an old horse stall that's been contaminated with urine and feces and everything else, and then you took a whiff of it, that's the smell.
Yeah,
very descriptive there. Apparently,
and you know what? He kind of nailed it because that's what I'm pretty sure the way he described that is what we've been smelling, bro. And I've never got a smell there, like I told you, and it only comes and goes with the wind. It isn't like it's just there.
Yeah, we caught it the other night up at Fort Duffield. Todd, Leanne, Denise, myself, we all caught a whiff of it.
I think we lost Todd and Leanne because they haven't said that for a while. Because I think
it's after 8 o'clock there. I mean, golly, they're surely. Well, it's after 7 o'clock. Surely they've crashed.
Claude, I believe if we wanted to contact them from within our house, we probably could.
Not try.
Not really try
because our house is full of spirits. When we're communicating here, we're usually trying to.
Yeah, we live in Kentucky's most haunted house, so we've got stuff happening here all day, every day. So we kind of don't think about the Sasquatch here,
right? We have not found any scat ourselves. Squatchman has found a couple things he thinks might be Sasquatch scat, but
you know what it looked like? Have you ever seen it? Because we found a bunch of stuff that looked like it was almost peat moss and diarrhea mixed.
Yeah, it looked like a big cow patty, basically.
But it was really big. Was it loose?
No, it was like a patty. The way he described it to me, I didn't see it, but the way he described it to me, it looked like a cow had just taken a dump in the middle.
Yeah, but that would insinuate that they're foraging and not meat eaters. I think they're an omnivore.
I think they're an omnivore. Like I'm basically a carnivore, but I do think.
I think they'll eat anything.
Yeah, I do too.
And this is that same print that I found out, and we found out.
Yeah, that
looks like a print to me. You know what gave it away for me is you see the mid torso, the break, but you also see the toe splash. Mm-hmm. So I call it the toe splash because they're coming. You can almost see in the back. You almost see the drag of the heel. Yep.
Then the ball of the foot, and then the toes.
Yep. Splash. Yep. And in the mud, it just spreads it out a little bit. And this was what 16. It was around 16 and a quarter, I think, and it was like 8 or more wide up the top from toe to toe.
Yeah.
Type of setup.
That's a good size foot there.
I think that's the big guys.
That's a big foot. Yeah.
That is a very big foot. That's
our lovely daughter Cora, by the way.
Hi, Cora. How are you? Gave you thumbs up.
She's given 2 of them.
She loves Sasquatch stuff more than the spirit stuff, I think.
Yeah, and this is my yard, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive right there. I like that.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like I go out there and I'm like,
something with thumbs, like you said. That's something with thumbs.
When you first start finding this stuff, you're like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah. Like, whoa, I wonder who did that. Why would somebody do that?
What are the chances all these trees are lined up in the same exact row and that's the only way it could be done, right?
Just happened to fall between those 2 trees, and then all of these were lined up and they just happened to fall in that.
Each one behind it would have to be bigger though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
In order to reach.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not I don't want to hear magic whirlwind.
It's well planned. I mean, it's
and now we're back here.
Yeah.
Is that the same one?
Apparently, I sent you about 12 pictures of that same arch.
But is that Is that still there? You know, have you been there in a while?
Yeah,
When
it's
was
still
this?
there.
Yeah, it's been there for 4 years at least.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
That
You
might
really
be
like that.
I think that's the same one, just
It-
getting a
it is.
different angle.
We've got actually. There's more than one arch up there in that forest. I think she just sent you
Loves-
several
she
pictures
likes
of
this
the
one.
same one.
There's
Oh.
the pooch again.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that
now
the
you
angle
can
you were
see-
talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't see this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can see how
That is
much
kick ass.
coverage it provides. You know, I mean, it's a big hooch. I mean, there's a lot of room in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, you're right, Ronnie. The same type of setup, right? I'm
Mhm.
telling you, man. Absolutely. Yeah, the stack of sticks. Yeah. Is that what you were talking about, Ron? Oh, I didn't know that, dude. I'm sorry. He did. He brought this up a couple weeks ago. I remember that, brother. And I couldn't find it again. That's what you're talking about. Well, you got a very astute eye, sir. Thank you. Back in the day, we used to trip balls. It's kind of funny.
Been there.
Using big words now.
You can see how those are broken. You can see, I mean, they're not cut, they're broken, and they're big sticks. I mean, they're
chunky.
around. I mean, they're not little sticks. You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't break them.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's crazy, dude. That's okay. So, all right. So, unbelievable evidence, guys. My mind is blown away by a lot of this stuff. It really is. It's crazy. And what I love about it is, for instance, we have the same mentality. This is the tree that I was talking to you about.
Mhm.
See how level it is? And then
Yeah.
look on the left side. You'll see that one go underneath that tree.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like a letter Y, and one goes underneath, and then the two go over the top.
Right.
So, that to me, that's a placement. And this area, when it's grown in, there's a little hill to the right of it that goes down in between these old rhododendron looking things, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and then you can't see the forest like you can right now. It's gone.
Right.
It's
Right.
all-
Now's the best time to be out in the woods, really.
Oh, it's crazy. And that's the hut we discussed. And compared to yours, it's different. But it's funny. I say to everybody, they go with what they got in front of them.
Mhm.
And,
Right.
and they got huckleberry sticks out in the Midwest or the great Northwest, that they're finding these huge 8x8 huckleberry beddings, basically.
Right.
I don't have huckleberry, man. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
So yeah, there's that 360 twist on the left. See it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
then
twisted all the way around. That is
Isn't that impressive?
Yeah.
That is.
That's right on my game trail. That's one of the first things I ever found where I kind of was like, okay, but I'm like, this ain't. And then I went out to those trees and I was like, yep, okay, Bigfoot's here. So this tree this is me on the right. Behind me, if you look behind me, that's that dream catcher. See it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
see
can
it.
see it.
Yeah, you can make it out. Now above me is about 12 feet in the air is this huge tree. Well, the other end of this tree goes through that Y.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And there's a birch standing straight up. So
That
there's
is-
a little hole that huge tree is slid through.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is
Yeah.
done with intent. I mean, that is
Yeah.
not just an act of the wind or snow or anything else. That's done with intent.
Right.
Exactly. Hang on, I got some questions here.
There's
Sorry.
Beth.
Hello, Beth.
That's
What's
our
this?
Beth.
At my work. Hi, Beth. At my work. Oh, yeah, Beth. Yeah, Beth. Is that what they were calling her? Beth one night?
We
Beth,
are Beth.
Beth.
no,
Beth.
there was a nickname they had. Hi, Beth. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. I know it's more for them than me, but still, hi. At my work, on rare occasions, we get a horrid smell flowing directly in front of the building. Only once I had a customer admittedly claim it was Bigfoot. Possible? Sure. Put something out there and find it, bro.
Very possible.
Yeah.
She's the parathug. She wants to make sure we know that she's the parathug.
Yeah.
Oh, Parathug.
Izzy.
Train tracks. Actually, there is a book written by Brandon Alvis and Mustafa Gadalari called Elements of a Haunting. And one of the elements of a haunting are the train tracks. And we believe those elements go with all things supernatural, paranormal, such as Squatch and
Spirit
spirits
activity,
and
even UFOs.
UFOs.
Yep. Lots of energy, too. The arrangement alone of his high stacks of sticks is a statement, intelligent construction, period. I agree.
Exactly.
Sorry, Claude. I jumped yours. has a young Sasquatch ever been communicated with?
Yes, we believe that the very first one, well, not the very first one, but the one that stepped out on the logging trail, we believe that to be a juvenile because of the size of it, because we think that they are more likely to be the ones to communicate because they haven't learned yet
that they're not supposed to.
Right.
They don't care, that they don't listen to their parents like a
Right.
juvenile.
Correct.
Also, Squatchman has a photo. It's one of his best pieces of evidence. I don't know if we've sent it to you or not, but I do have it somewhere.
Have it.
But he calls it Curious George. And it looks like a maybe 5 foot tall Sasquatch that's kind of peeking around a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's one of the best Bigfoot photos you'll ever see. He showed it to Bobo, and Bobo was like, wow. And I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's a really good photo.
Fucking moonshine.
One of the things that we've experienced on one of our nights out in the forest, there was lightning. It was dark, and of course the lightning would strike and everything would light up, and I was standing there with Squatchman.
This was right after the trees fell.
Yeah, this is the night that the trees fell. I was standing there with Squatchman, and the lightning lit up, and we saw 5 shoulder to shoulder. It was like 2 parents and 3 little ones in
3
the middle.
younger ones. Yeah.
And then when it lit up again, they were gone, and we both saw it because I was looking and didn't say anything, and he looked at me and said, "What'd you just see?" And I said 5. He said yes, and he described exactly what I saw. So we saw a whole family.
Yeah, and that's validation talk, and that's kind of like the reason why I always bring up a lot of my evidence when other people are here, because you guys have a lot more experience than me as far as multiple as all that goes, like all the experiences, I should say. Years wise, I've been doing this a decade or so. Well, they did it to me for a decade. I haven't done shit. But
you don't find.
No, I think I guess I'm a researcher now, right? Or whatever, Yeah. So I'm out there finding these things. So when I bring it to people like yourselves that have seen things, not only that, because geographically, I want to kind of get a feel for the different types of what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I feel if there is an elemental, as Claude said, or a cloaker or stuff like that, I think there's different types. That's just me. I feel it's just like we have different types. We have different nationalities, different, you grow up here, you live that way. You know what I mean? Like somebody that was, called an Eskimo, compared to someone who lives in the Caribbean. It's just two different, they live differently. They look differently. Right. They speak differently. Right. So that's how I feel a lot of it is. And I think if they go, it could be the same people that go interdimensionally. I don't know. That's a part I'm still trying to grasp. Mm-hmm. The cloaking thing blew me away that day. That's all I got. That's all I know. You know what I mean?
I mean, how else can you explain in this age with all the technology, drone cameras, FLIR cameras,
I know.
IR cameras, trail cameras everywhere, people exploring the wilderness, looking for these things.
Yep.
How else can you explain that they're not seeing them when I assume that all of us believe that they exist, know that they exist.
Right.
How is it that we're not finding, just flat finding them?
I know. And like the question we had earlier, there's this, the feet just stop and then they're gone. And I've run into this many times. I'm like, where's the other friggin' print? I can't prove anything. Yeah. And I deal with a lot of compost. So I'm looking for these impressions. They're measuring the same. They look the same, but then they're gone.
The glyphs and stuff.
The rock glyphs that we find.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they trying to communicate with those? I mean, there's just so many questions, and the more I learn, the more experiences I have, the more questions I have.
I know, and that's the same way.
Conspiratorial.
Yeah, see, I think this is where it comes with the discussion we're having. That's why I popped it up on your too, because
I don't know that I really have an answer for that one, because I mean, we've not ever really experienced any we've had multiple ones around us. Like we never just see one or two. Like we usually are surrounded by several of them, and they
like we talked about off air, how we're triangulated usually. It's
right.
It's like, you'll have one in front of you, one over here, one off over
we've
here.
never experienced any
aggression
animosity or aggression around
Oh,
us.
I could have been dead at least a dozen times. I mean, there's one. If they
Yeah.
wanted me dead, I'm dead.
They want
Gone.
you, they'll get you. I mean,
Right.
They were talking 50 to 75 yards from me. Clear as a bell with two other people standing there. We all would have been dead.
I think
Yeah.
they can get territorial as far as if we get too close and they don't like. I think they give off.
if you've got bad intentions,
they give off subtle, like you can feel it. I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than you can feel it. Like I'll see one and I'll go as far as I can go, and I will get to a point where I'm like, I can hear that's close enough. I don't question it. I know when I feel that's close enough that I don't need to go any further.
Right.
But I've never felt threatened at all.
Right.
Purple Blood, do we have any idea as to the life expectancy of a Sasquatch? I personally believe that they're almost immortal. I mean, I assume that when they're in their physical form, they could die. But they exist primarily as energy beings, in my opinion, based on the fact that we don't see them very often. But he's got a relatively small patch of ground, 3 acres. They've been all over his property.
Oh, yeah.
He's never had a full-on sighting.
Nope. I've been yelled at. I've been thrown things at me. I've had.
They're there, but you don't see it. I personally,
I know
they are basically a spirit of the woods, if you will.
Yep.
And
as far as
Skinwalker being in Oklahoma,
I've ever had a skinwalker.
We have seen some really weird stuff.
Yeah, we've seen some stuff.
Yeah. They're in Kentucky, by the way, Rich.
Yeah.
Let me see.
We've seen some stuff, but I can't say that I've seen a skinwalker.
Right. And these are the twists that I got. These are out Western Mass, the Burks, Wojo, myself.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the one on the right. Look at that twist on that thing.
Yeah.
That's a 180, man.
Like that's some power.
Yeah.
Oh, and thumbs.
Exactly.
And thumbs. Not your bad, bro. There's the big X's.
Oh,
I got a lot of these things.
It's been a while since we talked about where we're at. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay, Rich.
Yeah,
I love you.
Yeah,
I love you, buddy.
We've seen some stuff. So
this here, when I found the dream catcher, the investigator as I was with went home and found a book by Christopher Noel. Oh shit. Hang on a minute.
Look at that hair. Put your hat back on.
he's just jealous because you got some.
52 and I got all this cheddar. I don't even know what to do with it. So
I'll tell you what.
My earpiece fell out. So yeah,
when I was 52, I had just met Denise and I had hair.
Well, I can see why you lost it though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So look at that, dude. I mean,
2 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
This was a book was in 2016, and I found that in 2021.
Yeah.
And it's just mind. Get yourself that book, by the way. It's a pretty kick-ass book. And does it not look like I've been on a podcast with Denise and Ernie Pack or what?
For 2.5 hours almost.
You've had a rough evening there, Rich.
So same thing here. This is in the book on the right, property on the left.
Yeah.
Right.
We do need to get that.
And, and now look at. Now this is the dream catcher behind me. It's now a letter A. It's broken in half. That's the same picture. I did the same picture years later. Look where that thing's broken.
Yeah.
Dead center, man. It's like 12 feet up.
That is crazy.
It's like a 10-inch tree, 8 to 10 inches around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of that.
That
and all the
cool.
They went back and broke it. They were like, well, cool. you enjoyed our artwork enough.
Yeah. Yeah. You got pictures. Now we're done.
All right. So now let me see. Oh, this is one of the things on the left we found. Yeah.
That's
pretty cool, right?
Too different from the one that we had.
No, it's not too different at all. It's just that it's filled up and there's no way of getting in it. It's very strange.
There's no hole to get in. No, we got it. There's actually holes on both ends of the one that we found.
Right, exactly. So, all right, let me go back here.
Hello.
We'll end it. Well, no, that ain't it, Richard. This is all right. We will climb it. All right. So this is what. Listen, everybody. So, hi, Irene from Spooky Japan Podcast. How are you? Let's see. Fix that cheddar. The cheddar's fine, man. Leave the cheddar alone. My head was killing me from that hat. You know what I mean? Rich says, "Hey sis." Hey Beth. Rich says, "Hey sis." Oh, the other Beth. Okay. White beard, jet black hair. I don't. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
He's talking about just for men. That's what he's
He
talking
thinks, oh no, I don't dye my hair, dude. Stop it. I'm telling you right now, my mother's in her 70s and most of her hair is black.
Really?
I swear to God, it's like an old Italian gene. I have no idea why this is. People
I
always
was black when I met this thing.
This thing.
All right, folks. Well, that wraps up the show for the night. Someone's gonna die, so I gotta get going. What is wrong with you, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna be seeing his obituary tomorrow.
Right. So everybody look at this picture right here, right? Yeah, we're all gonna message you, Irene. You're gonna be on my show. I know. I'm working on it, man. Nice letters. Thanks, Claude. Untamed. This is what happens when you hang out with the Packs for 2.5 hours, man. So this is on my property. We walk up to this. I see it all the time. I always find it crazy. I never touched it because I know. Look at, they're all skinned. There's no bark, which is something that's very curious to me as well, by the way. And they're all just been sitting there, man. And I leave them there and because that's their stuff. I don't touch it.
Right.
So, and very rarely do I approach it unless I have to, we want you on our show. She must be talking to you guys. You don't want me.
I was on the other night. And then
we had an
electrical
power failure.
You had a power failure where? In Kentucky?
Yeah, somebody hit a telephone pole and took out power to half the town.
Good one.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm just kidding. All right. So anyway, we walk up. You see these all the time, right? Oh, hi Alexa. How are you? I love you. Mwah. I'm Uncle Richie, by the way. Uncle Richie.
All right then.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I got like 3,000 nieces and nephews. All right, gotta run. Good chat and all. Thank you for your time, Pac-Man Paranormal. That's right, Claude. Always a pleasure, man. Love having you here. Oh, they want you back, Ernie Pack. See?
It doesn't everybody.
You don't want me back. All right,
You say once you go Pack, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Oh my Jesus. And once you go Pack, you get start smoking crack is more like it.
Let's talk more about this picture because this is really cool.
Yeah. All right. So now listen, watch it. Now look at the top of this picture. You see the top of the sticks? They start to see the bend in those, right? Look at that. See how it's bent? Right? Everybody seeing that? You see the 4 sticks? Right? Yeah, everybody does, Irene. Thank you. Yeah, great to see you, Irene.
We love y'all too.
Yeah, okay.
I will
Irene.
say this real quick before one last interruption, and you can tell the rest of that story.
Yeah, what's up?
Denise and I started the podcast on Paranormal Warehouse about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things when we first started, we didn't know if anybody was going to watch because we were nobody. Mm-hmm. One of the very first people to chime in on our podcast 4 years ago was Irene. And she said, "Greetings from Tokyo."
Yeah.
We were like, that's cool. We got somebody from Tokyo watching us, and she has followed us ever since. And she
did the same thing. She's awesome. She did the same thing here, and then started talking about the types. What is it, habidio? What is it called over there? The habidio, or whatever. But it was awesome. That's your movie tagline. Once you go Pack, you can't go back. Purple Blur's still writing a script over here.
We're gonna have to do a movie. Apparently, Purple Blur, you're gonna be our agent. We need an agent.
Yes. Yeah. Write the movie. We're down.
It's so weird. The show's gone off the rails. I never thought that would happen.
I did.
Yeah, we already knew, Richie. We didn't warn you.
It always does when we're on. It doesn't matter who we're on with. It happens.
Can you imagine us sitting by a fire overnight? I mean, this is just going to get bonkers.
It's got to happen, man. Come on down.
Hey, we do a thing. We actually have our first one this year on April 20th. We do a spirits, squatches, and stories by the campfire at Fort Duffield, and we do a cookout. We light a bonfire. We go up there and tell all of our stories. People can go out and investigate, hunt the squatches. We have Squatch Man there. So anybody that's in our area that wants to come.
Oh, that just sounds like a dream come true, man. So unbelievable. Off the rail once the meds wear off. That's true, Ronnie. That's true. So anyway, back to this beautiful picture, right? And we're going to talk about that before you go because I want you to push that because that sounds like an amazing time. So anyway, so here's the trees, right? Here's the trees, right? Now watch, ready? Don't make this anticlimactic on me, guys. Listen. This is what I found. This is what I found. When I stood up close to it, this is what I found.
What the? That is
some cool stuff right there.
You see the bends in the trees right there, right? You see,
twisted between the.
And then you go up here and you see this. And then when I look closer, I realized these things were like what, maybe an inch apart, and one's higher than the other. It's kind of in a little bit of an angle that it has to go through, like Plinko, the old game on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Look at it.
That's crazy.
Tell me how the whirlwind did that, folks. Tell me how the whirlwind did that. That did not happen by the whirlwind. That happened by my boys in the woods.
The biggies. The big boys.
Oh man, isn't that pretty cool?
That's awesome.
I love it.
I'm gonna have to look for stuff like that. I never really looked that close. You know, like you said.
Mojo's starting his truck. He's coming on down right now.
All right, we'll see in a few.
Good luck with that moonshine.
West Point, Kentucky. Come on down.
No, really. Like get up close. Like I said, like I never really did. You know, when they're like the big ones, like you do, you're like, oh my god, you know, and you get caught up looking at them and stuff. But those ones there, you just think, oh, they're leaning these sticks up against the tree, right?
Yeah.
And then I noticed the bend at the top for the first time, and I went, what the hell's that? So that's when I went over there and I kind of stood near it and I looked up and went, I just froze. I was like, holy shit. Like all the times I walked by that and never walked over to it. So, because I don't want to be disrespectful either. So I don't like to go over there.
It's a gift for them to do that and leave it for you. You don't want to disturb it or.
Oh, and that's the way I am. I'm respectful like that. But so when I did get close, I was like, oh my, that's like a big piece of evidence that I walk by. To me, that's a big piece of evidence.
Yeah.
I'm
more impressed right now by the two arches in your hair. Those two arches are like, they're perfect.
My Bigfoot arches, bro. Come on, man.
I love it, man.
Holy shit. Well, you guys.
I am.
He's very jealous.
Look at that.
Let me see. It's looking good, bro. You're fine. You got a high top.
I do.
You got a high top. You look military. There's nothing wrong with that. You look like
everybody thinks I'm a cop. When I walk into a room, everybody's like, "Oh shit, put the shit down."
I can see that.
They think
yeah, you should get like one of those little plastic badges. Just a plastic one. It's like one of the stupid. They'll be so scared of you over a plastic badge. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Cup and shit. You know, put that in your pants, man. You know what I'm saying?
Put the weed away.
So listen, where can my friends find you? Where can we all find you?
Right here.
Right here, Packman Paranormal. Is it
Packman Paranormal? Hauntings of Fort Duffield. The Real Ditto House Inn
of 1840. The Real Ditto House Inn, 1841.
Right. Denise Pack and Ernie Pack on Facebook. We're pretty responsive if people reach out to us.
Pac-Man Paranormal has a page and a group. So the group, I think, gets more traffic because we allow everybody to share their paranormal stuff there. But we try to share everybody out. When we see stuff to share out, we'll share it on the page and the group. But if anybody drops their stuff in the group, we always approve the posts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I think lots of shine, Ernie. Moonshine. No, not head shine.
He's talking about my head. He's talking about my head.
It is a little shiny back there.
Walter, you're a jerk.
Joe, right there, brother. No.
Dude, we definitely own the record for middle fingers on my show tonight. Good job.
All right.
I'm proud of both of you guys. So cool. So, and then you have an event coming up at Fort Duffield.
Yeah.
On April 20th.
April 20th. It's like she said, it's called Spirits, Squatches, and Stories Around the Campfire. It's $50 a ticket. They get you a cookout. We have the cookout, then we go up the hill, we build a bonfire there at the fort.
We have snacks and drinks all night.
We have the Beth Allen of Soul on Blaze and the Black Wolf Paranormal. We have the Todd Eskew and the Leanne Eskew from the Black Wolf Paranormal. We have Tim T-Dog Comer from Riverbend Paranormal, Indiana. And we have the one and only Squatchman Greg Yost. All of us are going to be up there sharing our paranormal stories, our Bigfoot stories. We'll give you a tour of the fort if you want it. You can investigate. You can Bigfoot hunt. You can look for UFOs. All of that stuff happens
Or
up
you
there.
can just sit around the
Or
campfire.
you can sit around the campfire.
And if you need one of us to go out with you, we'll go out with you.
I think that's amazing, man. I love it.
Wojo,
I love it.
right here.
Yeah,
Got your
Wojo.
bed right here, brother. Come on down. Just say
Come on
when.
down, Wojo. I so want to go. Look
We
at.
do it about 4 times a year.
Yeah,
so
we'll do another one probably in June, and then
not
another
June,
one.
we got an event.
Yeah,
in
June's full. You're right.
So we will have.
We'll do a few more of these
Yeah,
before
usually about
cold
4 a
weather sets
year.
back in the winter. So
Yeah.
just follow us at Packman Paranormal or at Hauntings of Fort Duffield or the Real Deal House Inn 1841, and we'll post all that stuff.
And the other thing is too is if
get
you
haunted too.
make sure, Denise, make sure you message me this information because I'll make you guys a ticker. So whenever I have my shows, like today, I didn't run a lot of tickers tonight because it was just chaos. But usually I run the tickers constantly throughout the show, and I think it'd be cool just to kind of always point them in your direction. I have one for Russ Stiver and Jenny Davis, and of course get haunted and a few other people too. So no, that would be awesome. I'd be on it too. And Wojo, look at your brother just showed up. Really, Matt? You just show up now. We're leaving.
Yeah, it shows up. We've been on for what 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Damn right, and we still got
And he
too
just
much.
now pops in.
Yeah, and we got a shit ton to cover still. Damn it,
Yeah.
ridiculous. But listen, you guys are as advertised. What were you gonna say, bro?
I was going to say also every Sunday night you can find us right here on Get Haunted at 9 p.m. Pac-Man Paranormal Live. Sometimes we'll have guests in. Sometimes we will just bullshit and wing it.
Purple Blur said that they heard that you'd be pole dancing.
Not tonight. I'm still recovering from that injury from last time.
Yeah,
so
polling incident.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
pole dancing incident.
He was
I screwed up.
back in January. It was pretty bad.
It was rough go there for a while.
Yeah,
Touch and go.
You're good, but we got video, so we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. Well, that's what he gets for trying to do a scissor squeeze or whatever the hell those girls call it. What do you got? What do you girls call it, Denise?
I don't know. I'm not a girl. Explain to him, I'm not a giral.
She's really not. She is like a 13-year-old boy.
No, you guys are special people, and first of all, I want to thank you for opening up and sharing that, heartfelt story and how you met. That's really why I wanted you guys here. I know all this other stuff is amazing, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but all the time when I'm thinking I'm going to be talking to you two, my mind kept going, who are they? I want to know who they are. You know what I mean? No, I do, and I love you guys even more. Seriously, I think you guys are amazing people and a true gift to the world. So. I'm just glad. Thank you for doing my show, man. Yeah, you love my hair. I know.
Anytime.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
If you want to squeeze us back in, we're
in West Point.
We got more stories.
We're in West Point, right outside of Louisville. So far we've been missed. They've went around us.
Yeah, they've been south of us and north.
Oh, good.
So,
good. Ronnie, they're good. Thank you, Ronnie.
And we're into the cold weather now.
Oh, look at the shit I got to deal with. You believe this shit? Now, meathead. Now everybody's calling each other names. Anyways, enough of your shit, everybody. All right. I was, and we were all gifted tonight with the packs, man. And if you didn't enjoy that episode, I don't know what to tell you, man. Just crawl back under your rock and stay there. I got to go get my hair cut. I know that after that shit.
Leave that stuff there while you got it, man. Trust me.
I'm holding on, man. Because if I go like this, look at you can see the 8 head.
Yeah.
And then I put it back down.
When I go to the barber shop now, I tell them don't touch what's left on top. Just leave that alone. Tighten me up over here. Leave that alone because that's all I got up there now.
Oh, I can tell you. No, thank you, Bree, for sticking around. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Listen, follow me on TikTok, Banter Richie B, Banter Richie B on Instagram, Banter Richie B on Facebook, Banter with Richie B on YouTube. Like and subscribe. You got to hit that button, man.
Smash it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We got many events coming up, and you got to get over to the Get Haunted Network.
Great show, Dad. Todd said, great show, Dad.
Who's it? Oh, that's him. I was like, one of my kids are here? What?
One for the road. Right there, Todd.
There you go. The Todd? Is it the
Todd?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a tune out to the Todd. He wants to say, everybody have a great night, and Ernie Pack loves you. You're number one, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah, is he number one?
He truly is.
Yeah, you know what's funny is Denise kept calling me number two. I thought that was kind of not fair. You know what I mean?
There can be only one number one.
Yeah, we need a sequel. Yeah, no, we do need a sequel. We will be back with the pack. Don't you worry. We can make all kinds
Once
of
you go
rhymes.
back, you can't go back. So
That's right. Don't get Purple Blur going. All right. Make sure you
We
guys
love
like and
y'all.
subscribe.
Thanks to everybody that tuned in the chat.
and stuck with us for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Listen. My people bring it, bro. I told you guys this shit. They bring it. They're unbelievable. I love and appreciate all of you. We will be back Saturday night with Michael John for the Paranormal Voice. Thank you for a kick-ass show, Ernie and Denise. Thank you, everybody on the side. Please stay safe and don't be jerks to each other. Okay?
Exactly. Be good to one another, damn it.
Yeah, stop being mean. Bunch of
Yeah, you
jerks.
assholes.
And on that note.